back and the throne's mine. The future's here and it's my time. Straight shot, going for the head with it. Take his head off and say that I did it. Good riddance. Say hi to the bad guy, I'm back in business. If you took what's mine, I'm back to get it. There's nothing you can do, I'm back with vengeance. Now turn me loose. Now turn me loose.
Almost had myself muted when I was going to talk. Good stuff. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's just represent for the Gray Pill Podcast. Let me get this adjusted real quick because I'm seeing a little bit too much for myself. Sorry about that. All right, cool. Even better. All right, so welcome everybody. This is just represent for the Gray Pill Podcast. We have a great, interesting conversation. I was watching a guest of mine that normally be on here, a friend of the show by the name of Dame. He had just relaunched his platform last night. Actually, it was going to be last week, Monday. Whatever happened, life, you know how that goes. And he decided to go last night around, I think like 9 o'clock my time. It was a really good, interesting conversation. So watched the beginning of it, the middle of it, then the end of it, and I decided to title it Echo Chambers, which I think he was pretty much titling more of like white noise of echo chamber. So, you know, just for the clickbait, it's all good. All right, so I just want to get the introductions out the way. So I appreciate everybody for coming on through. Just Jay, this is going to be an interesting conversation, Just Jay. So keep your ears on for this one. Lady, like always, I appreciate you. Thank you. Also, we're going to have a group conversation tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So that's 8 p.m. 7 p.m. Central time, my time, 8 p.m. Eastern time for everybody else. Yeah, switched up just a little bit. A lot of few things I want to switch up for going next year. I even have like I don't know if anybody have that YouTube resolution for go on for next year. So a few things going to be changing just for a little bit for next year, just for the podcast guests and how we run the panels. Pretty much going to be the same concept, but just I guess a little bit less live, just probably more keep it on the group conversations and more uploads for next year. And then plus I got some offers to help people like edit their streams. So it's going to be a lot going on. So I don't really have the time to do it. If I had the time, like other podcasters actually getting paid for this, then yeah, I could like, you know what, let me put some more time into it. But the time that I have is the time I'm going to use. And I'm choosing to use it wisely in a very positive and productive way, of course. Yeah, so tonight, 7 p.m. East, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Central time. We have like 3 special guests going to be on with me, Ruby, and Wes. So the topics for tonight is going to be fat versus skinny. I had a guest on here before, I think like some months ago, by Lauren De Laguna that was on Jubilee. So I thought it was an interesting conversation. Not just her particular, but just the conversation overall. I thought it was a very, very interesting conversation. So we're going to have that group conversation tonight. And so I appreciate everybody for come on in for and add value to the conversation. So they say. All right, so we're going to get straight to the video here and let's engage.
I'm a guy who does a thing once in a while with some people. So I give a round of applause for myself. All right, so let's just jump into the topic, guys. Basically, I just want to talk about some of the things I've kind of come across on this journey of mine in these YouTube streets. I've run across a lot of people who have issues with the opposite sex.
Oh my!
I don't know what it is. It's just like there seems to be kind of this civil war going on. I could jump on panels that are mainly female-centered panels, where all they talk about is how bad men are. Then I could jump on panels that are male-centered, and all they can talk about is how bad women
This is
are.
true.
I was like, are women and men really that bad? And
Yes, they the devil. They the devil. Every time I see a woman, I'm like, I can't stand her. I can't stand her. Get away from me. Man.
are there sentiments starting to kind of spoil the pot for people who are out there trying to really find connection and really find long-term relationships? Are they letting that kind of get into their bone marrow to start to believe the hype that women are no good or men are no good?
Not the bone marrow.
So I wanted to assemble this panel because I want to get their insights. See if are they hearing the same things? Have they personally experienced some of this stuff, or do they have a totally different experience when it comes to how they view or how the people that they engage with view the opposite sex? Because I think we can come together and be on the same team, but I think we just need to kind of eliminate some of the naysayers and some of the white noise that kind of like that might be standing in our way. So
I believe that we can 100% because, and again, and this is me, adding my 2 cents to it, like always, adding my perspective. We can. I always felt like a lot of this, I guess, some of the panels that I've seen, it's always the of course the content creator with the topics, which is I'm fine with the topics, but it's how large majority of people handle their platforms, and everybody know I'm not a fan of pro things, but we just use pro things for example, or just any other platform. People like to push and spin a narrative. So again, was it what's the most always controversial, consistent conversations? Always going to be the gender war, always going to be politics. Them like the two conversations is never, never, never going to go away unless we have like apocalypse. Then like there's no government at all. Then yeah, then we're back to the gender war. So those are two is going to always be fluent all the time, circulating, circulating, circulating. It's cool to have that, that quote unquote Batman hope or mission to like keep fighting, like the conversation that Damien seemed like he's about to start off with, like, hey, let's have a conversation. Let's have some mature adults, men and women, on the forefront to say, you know what, here's and lead, have an example of the better way. I'm totally down for that, right? But at the same time, in the back of my mind, I know as soon as I walk out the door, there's going to be other elements of people that's still going to be with that. For I guess for them, it's going to say, you know what, we can do it better. Y'all guys are ignorant with the conversation. How do you handle the conversation? So that's what I would say for the from what I've seen. People just either push a narrative, have the panel, doesn't even have the panels organized to the point where you can actually have good, consistent conversations. And I said this before, every which is weird because people say, oh, you're in a sector of YouTube, you're in the space of YouTube. No, YouTube is YouTube. Wherever you go, wherever platform is YouTube. Okay, we're all under the one umbrella of YouTube. One guy owns it, he runs it. They have individual people that decide what they want to do under him, whatever rules and regulation with YouTube. YouTube runs it. Okay, even with the Gray Pill podcast, I don't have a sector, a space. I like to consider it. I like to build a community here and keep it free thinkers, open perspective, and try to keep it just as middle ground as possible. But I know that's not 100% always going to happen. But at least the conversation be like, okay, reasonable to the point, like, well, you know what? They feel more welcome to come back on, have a conversation. I've seen all the time. Ashley and Ruby is the perfect example. They will just go knuckle out with the conversation and then come right back on the platform, have another conversation. So that would be my 2 cents with that one. It happens, but other people, just how you construct your platform and what your platform's about. Fresh and Fit is a perfect example. They claim that is one way, but yet still you see something else. But as long as they get the money, it's all good. So it just depends on how people run their platform. So, and what we see on those platforms, but just understand there's a yin and yang to everything. If you see one platform that's pretty much chaotic and they're always talking about, like he was saying, he goes to a male dominated space platform and they're always talking about what women should and shouldn't do. There's always going to be an opposite of that. Same thing with the women platforms. I've seen so many divestors or lesbians or what are just straight hurt women or vengeful women. Even young women. I just came across a young woman platform. It's not a podcast, where she just talk about just getting the bag and how to maintain it. But the way she's having the conversation is like it's for self and it's selfish reasons. So you're going to have those type of I don't want to say narratives for the most part, but you're going to have most of those one-sided thinking people, and they'll lean to that, especially on a platform that if they're getting money, oh, they're going to stay on that lane. So it just goes. That's just pretty much how it is.
I'm going to jump into the first question I got for you guys, and it's going to be a question for the women to get us started off with.
Yeah, make it a
All
women.
right. So the first question is: women finish this sentence. All men are or always ... So I'm gonna go with you, Miss Sally Sale.
Jewish.
Finish that sentence. What are you hearing? All men are or always?
Jewish.
Liars and cheaters.
Oh,
wow. Okay. Is that a common thing? You hear that a lot?
Yeah, I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, you got social media, you got memes, you got reels, you got, different individuals coming on and talking about those experiences all the time. So yeah, that's kind of being fed into a lot of the women in society today. So yeah, that's very prevalent today.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Miss Mena King, how you doing? Tell me what you think. Finish the sentence.
All men are misogynistic.
Oh, wow.
And if we want to take it up a scale, deadbeats when it comes to dads. I hear that a lot.
Okay. Wow. You took it there. Okay.
Yeah.
That's something I want to do. And how about you, Letitia? Finish the sentence. All men are always...
They just took mine. Me and you were just talking about the deadbeats. That's what I always hear. It's either cheaters or deadbeats.
Okay. Now, with that being said, do you agree with those sentiments that you're hearing in streets?
Absolutely not.
Okay. And do you often find yourself pushing back on it, or you just kind of just say, you know what, I'm gonna let them have their opinion, and then they'll find out through organically, they'll find out some way that what they're feeling, the way they're feeling is wrong.
I think it all depends on who you're talking to. Like if I was talking to a friend or someone who, it could even be associated. If that conversation was brought to me, then I'm gonna push back, especially someone with 5 brothers and raised by her father. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like I'm gonna push back every time. But at the same time, I understand that every man ain't my brother or my father or my close friends that I know who are good men. You know what I mean? So I think people confuse their experience with all men. That's your experience with that man or another man that you may have dealt with.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think bouncing off of what she said too was that, for me, it's like that was their personal experience. I can't downplay what they possibly experienced. I think I can redirect, the situation that happened. I can kind of encourage, but I can also sympathize based on the very fact that I wasn't in their situation. So I don't know what all transpired or what all took place. However, I've always been, because like I've shared with you about, I experienced a divorce, and, a lot of people are, before that were divorced before me. They're like, I'm never going to love again, men this, men that. But for my experience, I understood where they were coming from based on the fact that now it was my personal experience. However,
yeah, or I always hear the one, if they fail, if it's be like a hardship fail the first time, I would hear on both sides steps say they would never ever again, just based off that one experience, and that sucks. Even if it could be a good experience. Like, hey, I was with this person for 5, 10, 17 years. Nobody didn't, beat on each other. There was no physical or verbal abuse, and they'll just like it. They just fell out of love for some reason. It wasn't clicking. They, in their ways, they felt like, hey, we tried everything we could and it just ended. And then they were like, you know what? No mas, not get married again. And there's people that never been married that says, hey, you know what? I'd rather just have my person, but never get married. And that's fine too. But some people just, on the examples that she's saying, it's pretty much like, hey, it's one and done or it's twice as done. I'm never, ever, ever F that side. I just don't care about them no more with that gender.
ever, I chose to heal. I chose to not allow it to deteriorate me inside, to tear me down, you know, and like literally change my perspective on men, because at the end of the day, I'm like, I will love again. You know, I will find true love again. And I'm not going to give up on that, because I believe that good things come to those who heal and those who wait for the right time for everything.
That's a good one.
I agree with that. Oh, I 100% agree with that. Let me, you know what? I think I got a sound effect for that.
I'm out.
I 100%. When I agree,
This nigga's spitting right now.
I mean, you are on point with that.
Yeah, I think we need a better buzzword than that. a little better.
All right, now let's go to the men. Same for you guys. Finish this like all women are or will always. Let's go with you, AK. What are you hearing?
I hear that all women are either gold diggers or promiscuous.
Yeah, I hear that a lot in the streets too. Wow, and that's. What about you, Kasim?
Mike,
You're on mute, brother.
Yeah, I hear that all women are 3 or 4s, you know, and it's getting to the point where if you listen to the noise long enough, it'll change your perspective and get you into that mindset. So when you happen to look at women or be around or engage women, you already have this preconceived notion that you've been ingesting, that thinking that all of them are 3 or 4s, and I don't believe that.
Okay. Why do you feel like you don't believe that? What how do you view women to where you don't let that white noise kind of get into your brain?
Man, you know, I'm around some pretty positive women. I'm around a lot of women that have good values and good morals. Right? They present themselves in a certain way. The conversations that I have with them, and when I meet, you know, their parents or their significant others, it just sheds a totally different light on what other individuals see. You know,
And he's 100% right. You know, shout out to him with the sharp. Is that a jacket or a suit? Shout out to him. Very sharp, very sharp. I had the same conversations. I remember I was on platforms where it was like people had conversations about single baby mothers, where single baby mothers was would you date a single mother or a single baby mother? All the men was like, ew, no, I wouldn't. I was like, I would, I have. There's nothing wrong with it. They're, you know, the ones that I've dated or been with long periods of time, it was nothing wrong with them. You know, they had their kids was well behaved. Heck, one kid, I remember he was, I think like 15, 16. He was so well behaved. I was like, yo, is that my kid? I never met you. But you just have some good ones out there. But unfortunately, again, since we're talking about keeping it on the platform, you would just have some guys will have a bad experience or experiences too, and be like, you know, all women, or they'll see what he was saying, they'll see some stuff from them, and then they're so gravitated in the echo of many of the hate, and they'll be like, okay, well, but then it's all women, and it's not like, it's not all single women, it's not all single baby mothers. At the end of the day, it's pretty much you. Like, if you the one always got to shout and scream at the vast majority of women, when you never, like, let's be real, let's, like, you know, everybody keeps saying the word logical. Let's be logical about it. You haven't dated every woman in the world. You haven't slept with every woman in the world. You haven't courted every woman in the world. You definitely haven't married every woman in the world. I would love to see how that tax bracket look. But for you, in order to say like, hey, all women are this, and you can't say, oh, well, I'm speaking in general. You can't say you speaking in general either, because your generality doesn't coincide with my generality, especially like this gentleman here is saying, hey, I've seen polite, respectful, courteous, well-mannered, well-behaved, very structured women, married and singled. Because clearly, if you're single, they had to date once or twice. They're not virgins. So obviously they slept with maybe one or two people. So obviously the people that he's seeing and I'm seeing, they're not hurt. They're not damaged. They're not, you know, ratchet. They're not 304. So where are y'all getting this intel from? Where are y'all getting this data from? That's like pretty much boggles my mind. So it definitely seems like it boggles his mind. Like, where are y'all getting this from? Well, well, maybe because if you're still stuck on the same people and you're still seeing the same faces and you're projecting how they interact with you, and then you take it out on everybody else. So it's not a y'all, it's got to be a you problem. That's how I'm perceiving it.
Maybe I just happen to be blessed with the type of environment that I'm with, and the people that I surround myself with, and the people that I associate with happen to have some really good old school values, and morals and principles. And I think that says a lot.
Okay, cool. How about you, Will?
I've heard similar things, but the main ones I've heard a lot of times from my podcast that all women are masculine, they're no longer wife material, and they avoid accountability for their pro-choices in men.
Okay. Do you usually agree with that point of view, or you usually have pushback? How do you feel when you're hearing these things with people that you're engaging with?
I ain't gonna lie, I laugh. I laugh. Like, yo, you really, when you walk out your door, you serious? When you walk out your door, you see like just angry, mad women just screaming and just starting it up all down the streets. You serious? When you go to work, you see unproductive women all the time. Like, that's what you see every day. I ain't gonna lie, I laugh. Like, if I be in a platform, something like, yeah, man, you know how all these hoes be. All these hoes. Where I see all these hoes. There's some nice women on platforms too now. There's nice women outside the world. I remember this one time, this one gentleman, he said when he walk out his door, he just see nothing but, and I don't want to make it a race thing, because every time and that's another one too. Jesus, I should add that one into context. That was another one to his question. Always, for some reason, on where I see it's always made into it turns into racial. For some reason, it always turns to race, which I think the most stupidest thing ever. But the gentleman was like, hey, every time I walk out the door, I see nothing but black women, never smile or never wave or anything like that. Now, my first instantly thought, because, hey, again, Bennett lived in big cities, and I'm like, why would anybody in a big city wave at just random strangers? Like, I don't see random women just like, hey, how you doing? New York, Miami, all parts of California, like, random women is not waving and smiling at just at people. That don't make sense. That's dangerous. That's how I say it. It's dangerous. And maybe the South's pretty much nice, but even still, when he said that, I remember that same particular day, I was taking a walk. I went to the I think I walked like maybe 3 blocks, went to the store, and as I'm waiting to get rung up by the cashier, I see so happened to be black women walking in, and they were just smiling and waving at each other, basically because they knew one another, as one was walking in and one was walking out, and they were just a mixture, white, black, whatever, and they were just waving and whatever to each other. And I instantly thought about the ignorant person that made that comment as if that was an absolute, and I just started laughing like, yo, people are ridiculous, people are silly. Why would you make that kind of assumption when it's not true? And then and maybe it's the petty in me, and maybe I wish I had like $1 million, because people like that, I just want to visit them. It's a movie I thought about, Silent J and Bill or Bob, where everybody was talking about him in the media so much, where at the end of the movie, they had like a huge book, and every person name on the internet plus the address, they went to visit, all the millions of dollars they had, they used the millions of dollars to go to their door to address each critic on the list. And I was like, that could be me. I will not just address him in a negative way, but like, this person, let's say John 3:89 said, all women doesn't smile or whatever. Okay, where you live? You live in Boise, Idaho? Let me go visit John in Boise, Idaho. Let's go, John. Show me where these women don't do this. Let's go. Well, I was that moment. So why would you say it on the internet? So people is very, very weird.
Well, whenever somebody says all, for me, that's just extreme, because you can't categorize every single person under one umbrella, right? There are good men out there. There are bad men. There are bad men.
Hey, keep in mind though, when they say all or y'all, and then when you correct them, it's like, no. I was speaking in general, but we allowed you to speak. you process your thoughts, and your thoughts out your mouth came all blank, y'all blank. So I'm kind of confused here. So when we correct you, just like, no. I was speaking in general. In general? Yes, in general. Okay.
And out there, same thing for women. There are good women out there and there are bad women out there. I think just most people aren't really putting in the work for themselves and going out there in the dating world and taking responsibility for their own actions to get the type of partner they want. It's much easier to blame. And of course, we live in a society today that victimhood is the currency that you get rewarded for on social media. So instead of taking accountability and responsibility, it's much easier to post online and get likes and validation for being a victim.
I like that.
So we get
victimhood is the new currency.
Rewarded for being a victim today.
I agree. Good point.
Yeah.
Hey, Kay, I didn't ask you, what do you respond? How do you feel about everything that you're hearing from the people in the streets?
No, I mean, I disagree, man. I mean, you know, obviously, as Will said, I mean, you know, I don't really I usually just speak in majority, right? I usually try to keep things in majority because, I mean, most people average kind of somewhere in between. So, I mean, I don't think that most women are, you know, promiscuous or bad or out to get you or gold diggers or even fours, as the other gentleman stated. But, you know, I mean, they do have some issues, but I don't think that I don't think it's as glaring as what people make it seem. You know, like social media, usually it's the loudest. It's not necessarily what's right. It's just the ones that are pissed off are the ones that are the loudest. So that's what we hear the most of. That's
what say. That they say the weakest one and the loudest one is just the weakest one. Shout out to Denzel Washington and American Gangster.
Shout out to that 0.0001% of YouTube. Boom.
So let me show some love to the chat real quick, because I really appreciate them jumping on. First, I want to say what's up to Sharon. I know you're probably out in the ocean, middle ocean somewhere. So if your internet's good enough, you want to jump on, feel free to jump on anytime. We really would appreciate your insight because you always come with some good stuff. So shout out to my man Sharon. Welcome to the Shadow Realm. I think that's Fatty's new situation. So pleasure that you're here. Okay. Monica Daniels. Now, Monica is somebody I really care about because she happens to be my cousin, and I really appreciate her and love her. So appreciate you showing some love, Monica. Hennessy Rose is actually my girl, China. China is good to be back as well. She is an amazing person, and I'm sure you'll see her on one of these panels when she gets some time. She has some really, really good insights, and is always a ball to have on a panel.
And she's on my thumbnail.
My cousin TJ. He said black men don't cheat. Okay. Then if they don't, what do they do?
Hey, what's going on? Either man. What's up, Madrell? Check your text message, sir, and not your DM. Check your text message, sir. I don't know if you would be available for 7 p.m. It's a conversation right up your alley of conversation dealing with physical health, skinny versus fat. So let me know if you can be available. We have like 3 guests that is coming up. 3 special guests will be coming up for 7 p.m. Central Time. I pushed the hour back because we had to reschedule it since last week because it's kind of a little bit my fault. I invited people last minute, but everybody said it was down, the special guests, and they said they could do it for this Tuesday. So the conversation is going to be about on Jubilee, reacting to a Jubilee video, skinny versus fats. It was a really, really great conversation over there Jubilee's in, where it's like in a day, like 1 million something views. It was crazy. So I decided to invite people that actually has the expertise in the conversation. So you are one of them. So definitely let me know if you're available, sir, but definitely check your text message. All right, let's get back to it.
It was good. Me and TJ got to hang with Will on Saturday. It was just a good time. Fatty, Team Fatty. What's up, brother? Looking forward to interviewing you tomorrow. On a Wednesday. Definitely got some things I think the people are wanting to know about you, get more insight to what makes you tick. So hopefully I can give them a good show. Joseph James. Now this is a really solid cat as well. I worked with him. He's a really strong cat. Appreciate you, brother, for coming and showing some love. All right. Great Pill Podcast. Now, appreciate you, AB. He's the guy who kind of got me helped me get my feet wet in this this space. So I really appreciate your insight and friendship for a long time. Even the single mothers, that's a white noise as well. Yeah, I guess that's what the people are saying. Like even the single mothers, that's a white noise as well. I guess I agree.
All right, let me get the petty in. Let me play back my flowers. Let me play back my flowers.
I can give them a good show. Joseph James. Now this is a really solid cat as well. I worked with him. He's a really strong cat. Appreciate you, brother, for coming and showing some love. All right. Great Pill Podcast. Now, appreciate you, AB. He's the guy who kind of got me helped me get my feet wet in this this space. So I really appreciate your insight and friendship for a long time.
Yes, sir. And if you blow up, we know who to thank. We know who to thank. And that's, my friends, is how you build great relationships when you network. Okay, take notes, pen and paper.
Even the single mothers, that's a white noise as well. Yeah, I guess that's what the people are saying. Like even the single mothers, that's a white noise as well. I guess I agree. Jennifer, new. Hey, Jennifer. Sounds like the panel needs to hang out with some new humans. It's not necessarily that they were saying these are their friends. It's just, but because a lot of these people are in like public circles, whether it be YouTube channels, whether it be just general like IG. Or
No, she's right. She's right. No, she's right. Sounds like the panel needs to hang out with some new. Unless I hope she's talking about this panel, but if she's talking about the other panels that he was giving examples of, yes, they need to go somewhere. Because a lot of us say touch grass. I will also say touch virtual grass. Go somewhere else. Spread out, roam around, go somewhere else, and find a different conversation of people, especially most people. They're talking about some, hey, well, Jesus, it's a lot. But if we're talking about gender conversations, if it's always argumentative, go somewhere else, because there's no spaces that always have casual relationships, conversations. They don't do the yelling and screaming and the consistent 6 to 8 hours back and forth. There's always other spaces. Again, YouTube is a trillion large and still growing. It's a huge platform. It's a huge app for a reason. Everybody's either making money off of it or everybody's have like very social gatherings. This is like the ultra version of MySpace. But yeah, I'm agreeing with Jennifer.
Whatever, just social media channels where they are coming across people who are saying this, and it's usually the bitter people in those spaces that are kind of saying it. So I don't think these people specifically are just living in a.
Exactly, Jay. Words to your mother. Yeah.
Emotional damage.
Great point. We got to find their mother and then get the word out.
Echo chamber of misery. So I think it's just that. And
You've been
Lady
too kind.
747 hand pink waving. Well, just appreciate you coming by, lady. All right, DeAndre, nice to have you.
Man, let's get to the conversation. I got my flowers out.
All right, so
is that it?
That is it for now. I am going to come up with the next one. Appreciate all the insights you guys are doing. You guys are coming with some real good talking.
Yeah, I got my flowers in, Jay.
All right, next question.
You got my flowers in. Once he blow up, I'm clipping it.
Do you find yourself engaging with more bitter singles or happy couples in your life?
What? The question is, would you say engage with? I guess he said, would you stay engaged with more bitter singles or happy couples? Okay, cool. Typo error.
And that's going to go to, let's go to Mena. How about that, Mena? Since you're the youngest in charge.
How old is she?
I think that there's more single people now than happier people. So I feel like due to that fact, there's more bitterness, there's more opinions when it comes to relationships, there's more opinions and voices of what is wrong, what is right, what you're seeing. So yeah, and it's unfair, and it sucks, because like, for example, me, I'm in a relationship, but like a lot of my friends that are single, you know, I don't like to talk about certain stuff just because I don't want to have outside opinions on what's going on in my personal life, even though their intent is good. And they're just trying to look out and be protective and everything.
It depends what your part of your personal life. Like, I don't like to share with everybody either. Like, I feel like there's a category of people, like say coworkers, right? You have like casual conversation with coworkers, you don't put too much out there, but at the same time, you might have that one specific coworker that you can open up with them, because like, you know what, stranger, right? That stranger would never be around your personal, like they would never come to your house, they would never come to your family events. So some people feel more comfortable to open up a little bit more to that person. It's a weird, I gotta say it's a weird thing, but it seems like it's a common thing. Most people is more comfortable open up to strangers than anything. That's why we got therapists out there, licensed therapists. And then some people have like, let me vet out my friend circles and have, instead of associates and casual friends, let me have my close inner friends. Some people have like a circle of 3, and they could just like, you know what, I gotta, and open up to them and share to them, or those friends can reciprocate, like, hey, I haven't heard from you like in 3 days, let me just stop by and check up on you. Or they might have, so personal, they might have copies of the keys. I have the same thing with my cousin or a family member. One got a copy of the key, one free to have access to certain things of mine, so just in case if I go out of town or take a road trip or stuff like that, they just know what to do. I don't have to like say it. So you have those type of inner circles like that. So, but it depends on what you have the conversation with too. And I'm probably overanalyzing this just for her just to say this, but I'm just saying it out in the air. Just vet out your inner circle of friends too. I know some people don't like that word vet, but especially if you're trying to create a safe space for your, for your own personal life, where there's the, there's no such thing as a perfect job. To most it is, but if it's like around your network of friends, with this work relations, whether events, wherever you go, just try to keep like a more positive social bubble for yourself, just in case. Because you always want to have somebody around you just in case of emergency. I remember like last time I had my wisdom teeth, I had 2 cousins I could call on the drop of a hat, to like, what, I know you're feel like your head about to like break. I could just come up there and get you and help you out. Or if you need to move, there's people you can call on drop of a dime. So, but yeah.
But due to the fact of that, I have seen a little pushback on
Really?
the people that surround me since I started a new relationship. So I definitely think that there's more single people that feel some type of way opposed to happy couples. And then you have your neutral parties where like they'll hear somebody out and just be neutral about it and give their opinion, but without it being like critical or anything. And then there's other ones like, oh, you just leave him, go party, let's go to the next move, this and that. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Letitia? Do you engage for single, bitter people or happily married couples?
You said me per se?
Yes.
Yes. We're talking
I engage with more, I would say, happy people. I deal with some happy couples as well, but I got single friends. They just not bitter.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. So it seems like you surround yourself with a real solid group of people who just are wanting the same thing. And that's I think is going to be important as we have this discussion, is just making sure that people understand that if you surround yourself with the people who are talking negatively, that's things going to seep in and you're going to view the world negatively. So I think the smart thing to do is consistently surround yourself with people who embody the things that you're trying to get out of life and relationships. So I think that's
so just your boundaries too, like what you would tolerate, what you tolerate, what you won't tolerate. People gravitate to that too. Like if you just I was gonna say ratchet, but if you just say a very open, I don't give a F, let's do everything, I welcome you into everything, every aspect of my life, it's gonna be a lot of wild type of people gonna gravitate towards you. I'm just gonna be honest. But if you're carrying yourself as like, yo, I don't got time for the shenanigans, I don't have time for the BS, then you're gonna gravitate. Those type of people gonna just gonna deflect from you, and you're just slowly catch a few random people that's like, you know what, they're cool, they're casual, they'll just speak their piece, be straightforward and whatever. Like, I don't know, just carry yourself a certain way, have some boundaries to certain things. Again, you're human too, so mistakes happen. Again, mistakes happen, you're human. But as long as you stick to your guns, to what type of person you are and what you will and will not allow and what you'll tolerate, that's it. That's it. But let it be known, you can't be friends with everybody. You just can't. Everybody's not your friend.
You're doing it, you're rocking out with it.
Yeah,
Appreciate
and
that.
also just be mindful who you get your advice from, because just because I have happy couples or good single friends,
Facts.
I don't go to them for advice. You know what I mean? Everybody's
Yeah,
not meant
yeah,
to give advice.
yeah.
She's
How
100%
about you,
right.
Sally Sell?
You know what? I actually have a mixture of both. I think there's just a really strong balance with me with that. But I'm going to tell you a little something, just on a little bit of a
Please.
side note, because when I first got divorced, I was right away, because I gravitated to, because of what happened, the trauma, everything that I went through, all the BS that happened, all the nonsense. So I automatically, once I started to kind of get out there where I was trying to meet men, trying to, kind of find myself again, get back, like Stella got her groove back type of thing. All of a
What?
sudden, I found myself.
What age was this? Stella got her groove back. Hold up. I need to know, because the basis of Stella was it was an older woman, more mature woman, went on a trip, and she found a younger, vibrant man. Okay, so is that what she mean by Stella got her groove back? Let's see. Also, to be fair, at the end of that movie, it was a happy ending. They stayed together. The end.
Being like, when I'm talking on the phone, I'm like, oh, you have to go. Oh, so you have someone else waiting. It was that behavior. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're just like, oh, really? Oh, oh, really? Oh, how many other girls are you talking to? I was
Oh.
literally lashing out that way. And, I would just start talking about my ex and how horrible.
Hey, shout out to Big D and Jay. I don't know, like he have to explain his brands, but say a little bit more parallel to mine. When he first started, he had a lot of this is his relaunch video and reviewing, but he had a lot of diverse. It was like a combination of male and women, very diverse with the with races, with conversation. Jokingly, it's like an inside joke with his platform. He'll have like serious conversation, somehow just end off and somehow derails and just talk about sex. I don't know why, but very cool guy. Very have like a lot of good conversations on there. I actually enjoy more just being his chat than his panel, even though I'll be like, hey, let me on. Or like last week, I was supposed to be a guest, but I guess schedule changed for this week. So yeah. Shout out to Uncle Fatty. Uncle Fatty says, hi vibe, love tribe, love y'all. Today is the best day of my life. All goes well. Tomorrow will be too. Exclamation point. Be the light, be the change you want to see in the world. Shenanigans. Exactly. Well said. And I appreciate it. And also good luck with you, sir. Whatever goes on in your life and endeavors from today, tomorrow, and whatever else moving forward. So good stuff. Also, if you happen to have the time, Uncle Fatty, tonight, 7 p.m. Central Time. That'll be 8 p.m. Eastern Time. But all the links and thumbnails is on the channel. So make sure you hit the notification bell for everybody. We're going to have a group conversation. So it is Tuesday for group conversations. What Big D says. Big D says the groove back between first and second. Yeah, apparently so. Apparently so. She's going to do a little deep dive on that. And I appreciate her for sharing. So it was a good talk from her end. And when you're hanging with the turkey. Yeah, man. I like my deep fried now. I'm switching up.
And this, so I didn't realize that I was actually damaging myself and the possibilities of getting to know a decent man. But thankfully enough, believe it or not, in this situation, I had these men actually almost gauging me. and being, you are, you're a beautiful person, da 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 da. Your personality's off the hook, yeah. He said, but you're a little jaded. And I didn't realize it. And I'm like, well, no, because you guys are all the same. I already know, because I've already been. And I started to realize, and I started to listen really carefully to what I was saying. And when these guys, said, hey, you shouldn't do that. And then I started sabotaging. That's when I stepped back. So in this case, I had these men actually educating me on the fact of how I was presenting myself. And they're like, you're a beautiful girl, this, and that, but this is like your downfall. This is the very thing. And that's not what I wanted to be. That's not who I wanted to represent. And so guess what? A lot of times we are dealing with a lot of trauma, trauma syndrome type of thing where, we got these traumas, we're not healing correctly or properly. And sometimes what happens is, like, if we start to hear wrong advice, it begins to mold and shape us. So now we pick up these lenses, and that's where we're viewing these relationships or one little thing that triggers us, right? It's those triggers sometimes that bring us back to that space that we're not dealing with. And that's what was happening to me at that time. But I was so
I don't want to cut her up, but she has been dropping so much gems right now. I definitely appreciate this. Hey, salute to you, Paulo. I appreciate you. If you have time tonight, 7 p.m. Central Time, we're gonna have a group discussion. It's gonna be really good. Fat versus skinny. So thank you. Yeah, she's dropping some good gems, because I had like pretty much a flashback of, again, since they're talking about panels and stuff. I asked a young lady, was literally, she was sharing and she was open up, but she was sharing the opposite of what this was saying. She was very negative, very toxic. She was telling a story where she jumped on a panel and she's pretty much just been, she actually trolled the chat. She jumped from the chat to the this is her word, she trolled the chat, left from the chat to the panel, and then things didn't go the way that she expected. So she pretty much vented about it, somewhere else. And so my thing was, hey, let me ask a question because I need clarity. I don't know. So you trolled the chat on someone else's platform, and then you left on a panel, and you went to their panel and expected a positive outcome? Question mark. And the person decided to share my chat, which is fine. It's your platform. Decide to share my chat and then pretty much just scream and curse at me asking a specific question because I didn't know. I didn't understand that. Like, for me, again, in my brain, it's like, why would you do that? Or did you feel entitlement because you did that after the fact, or because you had somewhat a close media bonds because of somebody, you just expected something from somebody else. You just assume. And we already know when you assume, you make an ass out of yourself, right? So this person decided to, pull up my question, curse at, well, you pretty much curse at the question because you didn't curse at me, and then just assume and project it on it as if whatever. And then the most ignorant response to it was, hey, you go mind your business. Now I was even more confused. I'm like, you addressed a question publicly on a live platform and you're saying, go mind your business. Okay. Very odd.
Appreciative of these men actually stepping up to the plate, and being like, hey, girl, don't do that. That's a turnoff. Don't do that. And in the process, yes, I kind of messed up some of them. And then I was like, what's wrong with that guy? See, I knew it. He's just like I said. But when I really stepped back, I looked at myself and I'm like, girl, you need to work on yourself. So they were that sounding board for me.
Hey, I saw you nodding. What were you agreeing with?
Oh, hold up, because she's dropping some gems. That's pretty much how that's like the perfect positive inner circle right there. It's like people say they want friends to check them. I don't know if these was actually friends of hers, but even in relationships, because like if you're dating and talking to somebody, they don't do that often, but they just expect people supposed to assume certain things because of the rejection or not calling them or not, or ghosting them. They just supposed to automatically assume like, oh, well, he or she's supposed to get it. No, this is a perfect example of what needs to be done every time either you have a breakup or there's a rejection. It's like you're going for a job interview, even a job interview, because mostly people say, hey, you know what? I didn't get a job, so what could I have done differently? So for the next go around, for either the next opportunity here for this appointment or someone else, so I know how to improve a little bit differently and to keep that same tool under my belt to move forward. And that's pretty much what she's saying. Like, look, I'm guessing it wasn't a gaggle of men just ran to her like, hey, no, it was over a period of time. She was getting it. Hey, one person addressed her. This is the reason why. This is why I start working out. Okay, move forward. She didn't take it as, okay, well, if I change right now, can we still stay together? Like, nope. She understood that. The next person on the next, everybody was giving her more tools in the belt. Same thing with, there's some women that do that too. So I don't want to keep it on just one-sided, but this is a great example of what's supposed to happen, especially in relationships. Okay. If it doesn't work out and y'all ending off like on some kind of like casual, whatever note, heck, I remember like even myself, like I got the most dumbest text ever. I knew it was coming. I knew. I'm again petty, right? I just want to hear the response. And I didn't even get a response. It was just like, hey, okay, not a problem. I understood and I was aware of it, but this person wasn't as mature as I thought they was, and which is fine. I was aware of this person had lack of awareness, lack of immaturity, lack of communication, and then it just kind of consistently showed more of it. So it is what it is. But it's good to know that there's people out there like this woman is saying that can actually have the conversation. Like, look, this is why it's not working out. Here are some reasons. I know it could have been me too, but at the same time, this is what I perceive you as. Is why I'm not moving forward with you. So kudos to her.
Well, I do agree with her that I mean, I kind of appreciate those guys that were like really honest with her, because
Correct.
sometimes it can be difficult for people, especially men, like when there are women that you're pursuing, to actually be honest with them. A lot of the times it's like, well, you can tell her enough, but you can't really tell her the full truth. So
You can.
like her, I kind of appreciate those guys for at least being honest with her.
You can. There's women out there to be asking, what did I do wrong? Just like,
so what about you, Will? I kind of got an idea because you kind of surround yourself with people who kind of like are like-minded with congruent values. But what would you say to that question?
Yeah, I mean, for me, blessed. My parents are still together, never been divorced. So I saw a traditional relationship, feminine to masculine, a great example of what I should aspire to. But yeah, for me, I know what I want. I'm very specific, very intentional of the results I want, and I only surround myself with people who have similar goals and values that I do, and what I'm looking for as far as the results I want. That's why I spend a lot of time with people who are in healthy relationships, the type of relationships that I would want for myself, and ask them their blueprint of what they do that works for them. So, but of course, on my podcast, a lot of bitter single women. I would, probably interviewed over hundreds.
Hey, good sir. You need to come on to the Great Pill Podcast, because everybody's my platform is not bitter, and they're not single. They're not single. A lot of married, 10, 20 years people guest on my platform, career driven, families, all that good stuff. We just don't do the whole gender war conversation, because it's like, for us, it's played out. Like, we understand people in media which he's pretty much given an example of the two. Like, hey, in my real life is one way, or media, I get like hundreds of people just like bitter. And I'm sure he probably experienced men and women on both sides, which is sad.
Of women on my podcast for dating relationships, I would say 80% of them are bitter and put majority of the blame on the men instead of.
I don't know. I was checking his platform, Jay. Crap. I want to say, God, it's on the tip of my tongue. That could be a good one. I don't want to say Arab or I'll say Egyptian, but I didn't think about that. I don't know. I think he mentioned it a couple times on his end. Like he actually had like a guest. I was watching. I ended up did like a little homework on the guest that he was interviewing, and he had like this huge big bowl, and he had this huge big bowl with some kind of drink in it, and then she was had like a wet scoop, and poured him a cup, but instead of a cup, it was like a smaller bowl to drink out of. I don't know what that was, but yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
Looking at both ways, it is a two-way street. Relationships is a two-way street. It goes both ways.
Yes.
That's what I see for the most part for most people who are bitter or single on my podcast. But for me personally, I always try to surround myself with people that exemplify the things I'm looking forward for myself and for my future.
Cool.
Yeah.
Kasim, I know being that you are in the luxury fashion industry, do you feel like there's a lot more like single people around you as opposed to people who are in like real healthy long-term relationships? And how are they feeling? Are they bitter, happy to be doing what they're doing? Or am I wrong? Are you around a lot of happy couples who've invested in each other for the long term?
Wow, Jamie. I mean, it's a mixed bag, right? Because in my profession, I happen to see a lot of bitter singles, mainly bitter single women that are having issues, in their relationships. I also see couples that are not happy in their relationships. I see a lot of bickering back and forth between, purchases between what, the man wants to do and the woman wants to do. And you can pretty much see the dynamic of their relationship, like right in front of you. You're listening to them, go back and forth. But in my personal life, it's a little bit more stable. I have a bunch of friends that are in long-term relationships with at least over 6 years. The average is about 6.5 years, I guess. So that's the dynamic, that I see.
Okay, I appreciate it, Paulo. Paulo says Will is Tongan because the guest that he had, I saw that name up there too, that title. The bowl is kava, which is a ceremonial drink for us. Okay, so you are Tongan also. Okay. Will's a good. We don't even need the validation, man. We don't even need the validation. Just very limited by his articulate. Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way, man. That's why I'd rather like moderate the group of conversations. So this is pretty much like a building character trait or strength for me, in the tool belt and a little arsenal. So that's it. Like catch me on the gamer site, man. I'm going in 24/7.
In my profession, I happen to be around, women from 23 to like 28. A lot of them look up to me, for guidance when it comes to personal issues. Obviously, as a manager, I have to, kind of coach them as far as what their work is, the work ethic, the goals that they need to do, and where they need to go. But more times than not, that ends up turning into their personal life, because what's happening is whatever's going on in their personal relationship is leaking over to the business side, where
Right.
they're not making their numbers. They're not making their quotas. So during these conversations, it happens to come out, between the bad relationships that they're having, with their spouses at home.
I agree.
Yeah, I really feel like when people are constantly around people who are happy, like the energy that you surround yourself with, I think metastasize and grows to and kind of envelops you as well. I think if you have happy energy where people are showing and displaying.
Yo, Dame, if you hearing this, man, don't keep leaning to your mic. Your audio is great, bro. Like I remember you had the mic in the center, and this is me. I can't help it. If I see some little stuff in the way, maybe this is CC, the content creator brand of me. Your mic is great. I remember one time in the beginning, you had it in the middle, you have it on the side, it's fine. You don't have to go no closer to your mic, man. You're good. Your audio is great, it's perfect. Just make sure that internet is whole strong.
Affection for each other, you're going to kind of like gravitate. That's going to be the energy that kind of absorb into that, and you'll gravitate to people who are promoting that. If you have people who are bitter and just hateful, that'll kind of you'll absorb that into yourself, and then you'll start to gravitate or start to feel comfortable around that. So I really think it's really important to kind of surround yourself with the people like Will said, that kind of emulate the long-term success and relationships that you are looking to have. And if you aren't, try to get away from those people who are constantly the naysayers when it comes to relationships. But I want to bring up my man.
Yeah, don't engage with them. I do it a lot. There'd be some people that you just not the right fit for me in my mental bubble circle. I don't even engage. I remember some people just have conversations out the blue or ask you like questions for no reason. I'm like, why you need to know that? Why do you need to know that? And then that rubs me the wrong way. Like, and I just don't even engage. And I'm like, why? Oh, because they're not no, they already failed the test.
And Marmello, he's finally here. Hopefully the boat Wi-Fi holds. Everybody.
I'm gonna be petty. Nah, I gotta do it.
Everyone, how do I sound crazy or I'm coming?
You sound good. You sound good. I'll kick you off in 5 seconds if you start to get crazy.
Yeah. Oh man, I felt that. That's a petty moment right there. I'm gonna go ahead and get that in. Appreciate that. And everybody's wearing, I noticed all the men's wearing black. He got a black shirt on. He got black suits. The brother over here with the chain got a little black. Dame got the black. He's got the black hair, black beard, black shirt, black background. Everything all black. All right, so black coming fair. Good stuff.
That's good. Now, me and Sharon have been on many panels together. I really respect this brother. We have some very similar dynamics in our lives, and he's just all around just a smart, insightful cat who says what's on his mind. He's not trying to placate anybody. He's not trying to cater to any specific demographic. He just says it as it is. I really respect his brother for that. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate those flowers. I received those flowers.
Yeah, you deserve them, brother. All right.
Roses.
What do you since you jumped in late? I'll get you to answer this question. Would you say that you engage with more? Well, you on a podcast, so you have your podcast, and you probably I can see where this is going. I'm talking about outside of the podcast space. Do you feel like you engage with more people who are bitter and single, or happily in productive long-term relationships?
I think in the real world, I deal with happy singles and happy couples. To be honest with you, I do not find myself around bitter people that often. Usually it'd be maybe one outcast in the corner. He's wearing like a hat. He got some really dark eyes. He's looking real emo. His fingernails is painted, right? But most of the time, everybody's normal. They're having a good time. They have good insight, and they're not blaming nobody for being single or anything like that. They just chilling. They actually enjoy being single. They enjoy going outside and going to the clubs and partying. And
yeah, that's my I got a lot of friends like that. That's my cousin. I remember him. He just left out the blue. I think it was last year. I didn't even know about it. First time he took a trip to Mexico. He literally got his passport and just dipped and just left for like 30 days. And it freaked me out after the fact when he told me. And I was like, yo, let somebody know, so just in case of emergency. But I don't know. You just got them people like that. So I agree with Sharon. You just got them people just like, yo, I'm happy being single. But some people just don't see that. Like, oh man, you don't want to get. And again, that's back to the platform. You don't want to get married. You don't want to have kids. No, just some people who don't want to get married. There's some people who don't want to have kids. Some people just happy being single. They are okay with that. They probably got like 80, 90 brothers and sisters, and seeing all them, they're like, you know what? I'll just be the cool uncle. I'll be the cool niece, or I'll be the surrogate to somebody, or I'll be the godparent, or something like that. Some people just okay with that. And most people just like, man, this is like years ago. And I was trying so hard to find a collective of people for this conversation, because there was one woman, she's married 27 something years to her husband, never had kids. They are happy with each other. They are very happy with each other and very content. and she was under pressure from just media side where she was like people just was frowning on her because she was like they expected her because the fact that their conversation, their echo chamber, their white noise. Thank you, Damien. Their white noise to her was when you get married, you have to have kids. It's like one step behind it. You don't have to do anything you and your spouse choose not to have, you know? Just like there's most people I know, like, you know, men and women that's single and they're past their 30s and they're like, they're okay being single. Most people look at them like, something wrong with you? No, idiot. They just don't want to be single. I mean, they don't want to be engaged. They don't want to be married. They don't want to have a kid. They're good. Some people are just happy being with them. Understand that. Move on. Just because you got 80 kids and then you divorced and then now you trying to get another man, like you got problems. They good.
Doing all the things that party people do.
So they're not blaming the other person, the other sex for the fact that they're single. They're just like, it's my choice. I'm enjoying it. They're not saying I'm single because men are X or women are X. They're just enjoying life.
Yeah, absolutely not. Most of the time, man, they're saying all women want their bills paid, though. That's for sure.
And what do you say when they say that?
I laugh because I can't really say nothing about it because I pay all my wife's bills. So
yeah, I know. He's old school. That's where we kind of align. We have that traditional mentality when it comes like bills in the household or what have you. Let me engage with the chat, bring them into the conversation because I want to answer some of the questions they may have. Jennifer says, "Stay around happy couples and happy singles always. You are the company you keep." That's exactly what we're talking about.
True.
You are spot on with that, Jennifer.
That's true.
Gray Pill says her experience has the same values with the positive women that speak toward men as well. Okay, I agree with that statement. That's all right. What are examples that would define a woman being bitter? Okay, let's dive in. As Jennifer, you gave a good question to ask. Okay, I think Sally Sale gave kind of an example. She came out of something that was tough and kind of difficult, so it changed her a little bit to where she had a different view of men. I'm gonna go to Leticia. I know you're a life coach. Do you come across any examples of women being bitter that we can use to define what a bitter woman is?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of bitter women carry a lot of baggage with them and a lot of negative baggage with them, if that makes sense. So just kind of like, you speak on someone like, oh, my friend, she's in a happy relationship. And it's like, well, that's because, you always try to find something negative about something. I think that's a bitter person to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. How about you, Manna?
I think what she said is a female that just finds something wrong in someone else's happiness, I think is a good baseline to put into bitter. Is just somebody that always has something to say. And I mean, the topic is relationships, but it could be general. Like if you have a success story, if you got a promotion, if you got something, and then you're like, well, what if this happens? It's like, no, you don't need to be devil advocate. Like, cheer for me, celebrate me. If not, you don't need to be in my circle. So I think that's
like a hater.
Yeah, that falls into like the bitter category.
Yeah. All right. Any of the men want to jump? Go ahead.
Really quick,
Sally.
just one of the things to go along with that, because I just it brought some memories to me about some stuff that I remember, when I was trying to, get to know somebody, I would have a friend be like, well, why are you talking to him? And, you're thinking like you can go talk to your girlfriends about anything. And I fast realized that I couldn't, because I felt like this pressure, like if I'm talking to him, like you're going to throw beef at me because I'm trying to talk to someone, why are you talking to him? It's always so. I came to a point where I was like hiding, not telling them who I was talking to because I felt like I was getting heat for it. And then I started to realize, I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, why are they behaving that way? Why are they acting like that? And it was just like, whoa, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why are you talking to him? You already know he's going to do this. You already know he's going to do that. At the end of the day, and I guess this is maybe a general question.
Hold up, I don't understand that. But my first response would be they're not your friends. But hold on, I don't.
that I couldn't because I
and someone else's happiness, I think is a good baseline to put into bitter, is just somebody that always has something to say. And I mean, the topic is relationships, but it could be general. Like if you have a success story, if you got a promotion, if you got something, and then you're like, well, what if this happens? It's like, no, you don't need to be devil advocate. Like cheer for me, celebrate me. If not, you don't need to be in my circle. So I think that's
like a hater.
Yeah, that falls into like the bitter category.
Yeah. All right. Any of the men want to jump? Go ahead.
Really quick,
Sally.
just one of the things to go along with it, because I just like it brought some memories to me about some stuff that I remember, like when I was trying to, get to know somebody, I would have a friend be like, well, why are you talking to him? And, you're thinking like you can go talk to your girlfriends about anything. And I fast realized that I couldn't, because I felt like this pressure, like if I'm talking to him, like you're going to like, throw beef at me because I'm trying to talk to someone, why are you talking to him? It's always so. I came to a point where I was like hiding, not telling.
Okay. Okay. I'm feeling out. I hear what she's saying, but I think, and this again, me speculating, I think the friends that that friend and the friends that came and said that to her is probably because like they probably seen her pattern and behavior, and they were like, you know what? Let me just let you know about you, not really so much the guy, if that makes sense. So I think that's pretty much where the friend was coming at, because I had to listen to her. Like I hear what she was saying to make an example, but how she said it when she projected onto the friend, I feel like the friend was like, you know what? I know what type of person you are. So you need to be more careful than just be careful of the guy. Be careful of yourself, how your attitude, your personality, how you move, because I know you. So that's how I'm taking it.
Them who I was talking to, because I felt like I was getting heat for it. And then I started to realize, I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, why are they behaving like that way? Why?
Who I'm talking to, maybe they know the person. Again, I'm just speculating at this point.
Why are they acting like that? And it was just like, whoa, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why are you talking to him? You already know he's going to do this. You already know he's going to do that. At the end of the day, and I guess this is maybe a general question as well, why does there have to be so many rules in love? Because that was one of the things that
Hold up, because she's about to pivot a little bit. So the question was asked, what are examples that would define a woman being bitter? Chat, you could chime in if you want to, but this is something I had brought in the chat on his end. I don't know if you have his lives replay set up for the chat, but this is what I had up for him, but it's a little bit more detailed before. Constant negativity, a person who's consistently expressing negative opinions, complains, and that's pretty much where she's talking about at this point. A person who constantly express negative opinions, complains constantly, and focus on the drawbacks of situations. So that's pretty much what she's explaining. Resentment, someone who holds on to grudges, harbors resentment, and is unable to let go of past grievances. So that's also going to be a projection too. So her friend could be pretty much like have her own type of insecurities and then put it on her as if like I'm living through you, which is weird. Jealousy is another one. Jealousy and envy. This was a good one because again, when in my younger days, I just be envy of other people, but my envy was like, hey, not let me hate, but if let's say, for example, if somebody had like the new back in the day, the Honda Accord, and I'm like, man, that sucks. I wish I could be you. But at the same time, like, how can I get that too? So I would just either get a job, bust my butt, get it. But by the time I already had the money and wanted it, I didn't even want it no more. So I just like moved on. So that's pretty much was me back then. I can care less. Even right now, everybody, I got friends like the whole PS5 thing, right? Like, man, I want a PS5, but do I need a PS5? No. So that's pretty much how my mindset works right now. So jealousy, envy, displaying resentment towards others' success or happiness, and being unable to generally celebrate other people's achievement. And then number 4, cynicism, a person who tends to be distrustful or of others, intense, always expecting the worst, and viewing situations with a pensive outlook. I think that's the worst. Like that's the worst. That's like a snaky friend. That's a snaky friend. So again, you can't explain and talk to all your friends about everything. Just like don't. Like this is why I said all the time. I don't care for relationship could be anything: friend, family, coworkers. Vet wisely. You know what? Be casual with the conversations. See how they share and react to certain conversations they open share to you versus you share to them. You know, and then just take it from there. All right, and then also depending on what they share, if it's like something like she's sharing very deep, what she shared earlier, be empathetic of the situation, you know? So that part. Uncle Fatty says Mark Twain, happiness and sanity are impossible combinations. Finding comfort in low frequency, bad vibes is easy. Exactly. Bad vibes are very easy. Like it's so easy to be just a jerk just cause. So easy. Being positive, stay positive, engaging positive is harder, but worth it. Very worth it. Very, very worth it. I'm in it for the long game, sir. In it for the long game.
I experienced right when I was getting back into the dating. I was like, don't call him right away. Don't text him right away. He's gonna think this, he's gonna think that. And I'm like, man, like I'm an 80s baby. Whatever happened to just like let it flow? Like, write letters. You want to go out with me? Yes or no? You're in elementary school, like the simple thing. Why can't we go back to that? Like, what's wrong with me telling somebody how I feel about it? Like, you can't do that because he's gonna do A, B, C, D. I mean, and I was given the whole alphabet. And it was too stressful for me. I'm like, is it really this hard today to be out there in the dating world and all of this? And so when I'm sitting here trying to get back out there, trying to heal my
it is and it isn't. it is and it isn't. Again, probably just speculating and maybe just speculate a little bit. My advice with that situation: take it slow. If you want fast results and fast outcomes, like I know somebody, like I don't think they even heard I remember one particular person I was dating. I don't even think they heard themselves when he said it or understood it, but they claimed they got so good ears. They said, "Man, I'm turning 40," and I was like, "Okay," and it's like, I would love to have kids. For me, I was like, red flags, because that's not what my intent was. But for this person saying it and the way they said it, I was like, okay, it seemed like you want to rush the results that you're getting and you're not going to get it as fast as you want it. So this is pretty much what I'm saying to this person with the dating thing. Like, it is and it isn't. Same thing we tell most men: you got to put yourself out there. A young filly, by Tree of Logic, she would suggest to let the men come to you, which is fair. But I would suggest don't miss a good opportunity. And I'll give you an example. I'm not saying run to every guy and like ask for their number. I'm not saying run to every guy because you just look a little bit desperate on that one. But I would suggest like, hey, have a casual conversation. Like if it's a moment there, like start a conversation and hope that he leads into the conversation, low key be casually flirty, but also remember there's guys, because I'm like pretty much like the guy. There's guys that they're like really, really won't catch the hint because how the world is right now. That's pretty much why she felt like it's a tough struggle for her, because I don't want to put on social media, but social media added a lot of volume to this, right? It got to the point now with a lot of men, and maybe she's not seeing this, a lot of men is like pretty much either like very, very, very cautious what they say and do around a lot of women, because we've seen on news, TikTok, every media platform that women do the most outrageous stuff to either entrap a guy, the turkey baster, drug him, just point blank lie on him, dox, and we're keeping it, and the media too, dox him, put out personal information just to shame a person, bash their character, diminish a character. Even if a person making a joke about, make a little a quote unquote gay pedo joke, which is really most people not supposed to do, is frowned upon. But just doing that, then you have these women just go out their way with the most to put a narrative and a spin on one particular guy. So a lot of males is aware of this now, And it was like, you know what? Let me be very careful who I'm around. So you can look like a very nice woman, you can be very sweet, but guess what? A lot of men, especially the real men you're trying to approach, is gonna be very like you gotta like, I don't know, it's this weird like ninjutsu kind of weird like awareness you gotta have. And it comes back down to that vetting. So I would suggest just go out and just like randomly ask for other guys' number because to them you might look like kind of crazy. I like a chick like, hey, you know what? I think you're cute. Would like to hang out sometime. I'm cool with that too. It kind of just kills all the noise for me to play the like that long game, but it's gonna be guys out there who's not about that. Like be a little bit casual, flirty conversation, show just a little bit of interest, but not too much interest, and then see how they, fall with the conversation and see if they ask you out or go from there. I know my niece, she's been married like what 3 years now. She was like an earlier conversation. She was actually a guest on my platform. Very sweet. She told me the story that first time I ever heard this, I thought it was pretty cool. She said her and her man was serving in the base together, and she noticed again. This is why I said this self-awareness, right? She noticed he was interested in her, but he never approached her. So she approached him, but the way she approached him was like just being casually friendly. And then she was like, hey, you want to hang out with us to a group friend thing, whatever. And then I think they went bowling something. And once they got together and got a little bit more casual, they had little moments, vibes, and sparks. And it went well. And he was just like a little bit more comfortable with it. He asked her out, not knowing technically that was their first date. And guess what? They're married. They have a child together. They're doing great. So, bada boom, bada bing. Hey, what's going on, Features? Hey, Features. I got to email you. He said, Feature says, I am at work right now. Just want to shout out to you, brother. Okay, cool. I got to email you something because it was a content I wanted to do or a reaction to something a long time ago. But I think when I get time, I'll email it to you. But I appreciate you coming up through, good sir. And try not to work too hard. Work smarter, not harder.
Myself and trying to overcome these barriers, but then I have a list of rules as well to go along with why, when, how, and where it becomes so difficult. And I'm like, man, why can't love just be love anymore?
But that also go it also go back to what I said as far as like you can't get advice from everybody, even if it's just your friends. You know what I mean? Everybody can't give good advice.
That's true.
Yeah.
Even with my advice I gave you. And I think my advice was very sound, but again, every advice is not good advice for everybody. Which again, back to the media platforms where we just saying earlier, everybody want to speak on absolutes when it's not really an absolute. That's pretty much the only thing that triggered me. Everything's not an absolute. Everything is case by case basis. That's how that works. Like work on yourself first. And even when you work on yourself first, I want to say run out just immediately, especially if that's your hard part or your difficulty area. Like she said, she just get back in the game of dating. I would say just gradually, just casually go out, date yourself as you're working on yourself. Go out, date yourself, be comfortable with, you, yourself, and I, right? And just take your time with that and then see and build.
And I want to kind of stay with that a little bit. It's like, so you talked a lot about like changing your way of thinking, changing the way your perception of men and relationships and stuff like that. What are some of the things? How did you do that? What are some of the actions you took to make that change possible?
Me?
And then I want you to answer, Sally, and then I want Letitia. I want to know what you do. Like, how do you help people find the tools to do that as well?
Okay. Honestly, actually I had the opportunity to step back, like I said, and I started to kind of do a lot of self-evaluation. I started spending a lot of quality time with myself because at that time it came to a point where I was literally feeling isolated from the world because I was dealing with so much brokenness in my life. You know what I mean? It was like, I was going through anxiety, depression. I was by myself. My kids were gone with my ex for the weekend. And I remember one particular day, I couldn't even get out of bed. I mean, I was on the sofa literally, you guys. And the whole weekend, I couldn't even get up to go get any water. It was that bad. There was nobody there calling me. There was nobody there supporting me. And I realized at that moment, and I mean, at that time, I literally stood up and I was like, God, if you can at least help me to, even if I got to crawl to the kitchen to get a drink of water, help me do that because I can't stay here. It was that moment when I felt like I couldn't get up to go get a drink of water. I couldn't do these things anymore, that I wasn't being my true self, is when I realized, man, something has to change here. And that's when I began to really work on myself. I began to listen to motivational, videos. I started, I went to therapy. I started doing things that really helped me. I went to Celebrate Recovery. I don't know if you guys ever heard that. Celebrate Recovery was super awesome for me.
No, I never heard of that. I know most people get like pets. That's a good motivator too. I thought about that like a while ago. I didn't know that was a thing. I know most people get like comfort dogs and cats because they have like their own traumas, but also having a pet will, kind of slowly forces you to get out, and do things. And then while you're slowly building from that. But that's good. Shout out to her.
It helped me. They literally go all the way down to your childhood, and then they work your way up and realize that a lot of what I was dealing with stemmed from childhood traumas and different things that were still lingering there that I never dealt with, which were now filtering into my adulthood. You know what I mean? Just to go in a little bit deeper, I was also molested, so as a kid. So going through all of these things and bringing these things into my womanhood, and still dealing with more devastation after a divorce, after feeling like everything was literally stripped from me, going to a 3-bedroom house to staying with my sister in a 1-bedroom house was very devastating. So you don't have but time to think on working on yourself. So at that moment, I started to make more better decisions. I started to get more, because I've always known I was an entrepreneur. I started venturing off on business stuff, and I knew that I just started flourishing. And I'm not where I am today for no reason. I feel like everything that I went through had a purpose. Everything was a stepping stone for me to get to where I'm at today. And so I'm grateful for that. So that's what I had to do. Self-evaluation, my faith, I had to get around people, and I also had to get a support system. And one of my favorite things is, like I said, I need my destiny helpers. There's destiny helpers out there that were like true people that were literally checking on me and calling on me. I started to get kind of do away with so-called friends. That what I've learned is that title has to be earned.
That is a bar right there. That is a bar. Friends got to be earned. Friends got to be earned. Man. She is not lying. I like her. She is honest. She's authentic. She is sharing. I like her. Uncle Fatty says Snafu and Emulate Tommy are infatuated with the name calling, projecting, excuses, rage, rationalism, justification, bad vibes, anger. There is an addiction. Yeah. Welcome to social media, sir. Welcome to social media, especially that yeah. That's how it goes.
So for me, taking that to another level, I don't want friends. I need pillars. I need pillars in my life. People that are literally going to hold the structure of who I am and can handle me at every capacity in my life, no matter where I'm at. So that's what I had to do. I really had to get myself up and shake myself and have these conversations with myself every single day. Words of affirmation, prayer.
Yes.
Getting around people that were really going to speak into my spirit.
Yes.
Speak into my thoughts, speak into the direction of where I was going in life. And that's what really got me to where I'm at today.
Nice. Give her a round of applause. That is the most honest sharing. Like, that is crazy. Yes.
And for you. How about you? What do you got to say add to that, Letitia?
Nothing to say. That's perfect.
You're on mute right
Muted.
now. You're on mute.
Yeah, tighten up.
My apologies.
You're good. We like your hair, though. Like your hair. It's all yours.
Okay.
Usually when someone comes to me, usually it is people that's either married or in a relationship. I always started by like talking to them as individuals for like 10 minutes, just to see like what it is that you want me to get out on the table when you or your wife or you and your girlfriend speak. Because usually they tend to be more honest with me when I'm just one-on-one than they will be in that group, that group setting. So just pushing them to, I pretty much guide them to get out what they're trying to say. One thing I always get both of them to see is the roots. How are you raised? Were you raised with your mom, your dad? If they say yes and their parents was married, I always ask them, were they happy? And this is the one, I mean, it don't trip me out, but it trips me out to see people's reaction. Some people be like, no, my parents been married 30 plus years, they're not happy. And I was just like, okay, so is that something that you want? Because that's a norm. And I try to get them to see that, well, the relationship that you're in, is this something you want to be in? Are you, with this person, or are you tolerating this person? Because me personally, I see a lot of people that tolerate one another. They say we did 20 years together, but were we really together, or did we just tolerate each other? So getting them to see that, and also me explaining to them that just because we said in a life coach session, I'm just going to keep it real. The whole time, I'm not pushing you guys. I'm not the person to sit here and be like, you guys are so meant to be, because sometimes people are not meant to be. And I can love you and know that we're not meant to be. So my job is to pretty much get them to see, is it something that you guys can work at? You know what I mean? Is it a communication problem? Or do you guys just tolerate one another? And is it better to, kind of love each other enough to let each other go?
Yeah, but I don't want to knock her, because I don't know her, so she might have expertise in this and add some context more. But I'm just, again, this is me put my 2 cents in. I would use that for the last resort. Like, make sure they cross all the T's, do all the exercises, every other tool that she suggested to them, and then that will be the last one, like that toleration part. But also understand, like, it's weird because especially when it comes to marriage, even if it's not marriage, lengthy time with one another, it's like seasons. Like, you're not the same person who you was in the beginning when you with that person, because like we're trying to figure out how to like my life, my bubble, and then now you had your life and whoever you with, family, friends, whatever, then mine's. Now we meshing together. So now we learning how, like, we had the flirty phase, the casual, man, it's on the tip of my tongue. The flirty phase, the infatuation phase, right? You had that for the few months, and after that phase passed. It's like, okay, now back to reality. And then a year later, then 2 years later, and then everything kind of adds up from there. So yeah, I would just say definitely encourage them, like, just understand, like, everything comes to seasons. Relationship, girlfriend, boyfriend, fiance, living together, marriage, all that comes in seasons. Like, people need to understand that. Even if you're doing the long distance one too, like, people need to understand that too. Like, you might be holding down a long distance relationship for like a year until something actually seriously changes, because I know most people can't even hold down a actual conversation long distance, and don't less texting, more talking on the phone, or less talking on the phone, more texting, no FaceTime. Like, people, like I'm saying, people need to understand that, especially when they understand like what their intent is. Their intent is marriage. Hey, you in it for the long haul or not? Let's go. Shout out to Trash Can Ways. Appreciate you, good sir. I don't know about the player part, but appreciate you, good sir. Uncle Fez says content and complexity versus hunger and driven. Yeah, she's very driven. But at least she fought her way up and keeping pushing. And again, depression, I'm not saying is now, but depression is a mofo. Like, daily affirmations, and then building a good positive circle around you. Because finding really good friends is hard to find. Finding good 3, like, because most people say, I got like 10 friends. All of them not your friends. They're associates. They're acquaintances.
It just depends.
Cool. Good stuff. I just want to highlight Will's. He said, avoiding accountability, Jennifer, and blaming men for all their problems. I want to ask Sharon, because were you in agreement with what Letitia was saying? Did you have some insight that you wanted to interject what she was saying? What's going on?
I don't know. I was I was perplexed with the words that was being said. So I was trying to navigate those thoughts in my head. I'm not sure if I really have a coherent thought, but with the bitter part, I think what I would consider a bitter human being is somebody that's married and they talk down about marriage. That say, I'm a housewife, but you should go out there and go and work.
That's not better
because you never should trust a man. I think that sounds like a bitter human being.
That's not better.
Somebody that's been married for 20 years and they say, but we just got through it. We're not really happy. I think that sounds a little strange to me as well.
It's not better.
Those are my ideas of when I hear if somebody's bitter or not.
Okay. What about you, AK? Give me an example. Do you hear, what is your example of somebody? Now let's just say men. I'm not going to say women. The women spoke quite a bit on the women. How about, what do you feel like is a bitter man?
So what I usually get from bitter men are they basically make excuses, because I'm a no excuse guy for men or for women. Like, my son is just made 18, my daughter's 12. If I keep it real with them, I'm not sugarcoating it for grown people.
Yeah,
right?
man.
So anytime I have a conversation with a guy, it's like I can tell within 3 minutes if he's the excuse making type or if he's, hey, what can I do to improve this? Right? Because as an adult, anytime there's an issue in your life, like, this is just what I believe personally. 90% of the problems in your life are your fault.
Hell yeah.
Either you caused them or now they're laying in your lap and it's your problem to fix, right? So, I mean, if you know you have a problem, even if you didn't cause it, it's now your responsibility.
Hell
and that's
yeah.
kind of like, being a father, being a leader, being a husband. It's like that's what we deal with. So anytime I see a man and he's just kind of making excuses, whether it be about his job or the way he dresses or the way he talks, or the way he treats his kids or just whatever the case may be, that's when I know, like, instantly, oh, he's one of those. He's bitter. Like, I mean, I know a bunch of guys like bitter about, their baby mamas. And I'm just like, dude, like, you impregnated her 3 times over the course of 10 years. Like,
Facts. 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 I know those type of people. They'll still go raw dog Ronnie and chicks knowing they can get them pregnant and then still complain after the fact. Man, my girl pregnant. Did you come with protection? Man, I ain't trying to hear that. What? Yo.
Like, what we, like, this is you caused this, right? So, I mean, and those guys I just stay away from, because it's like, I'm not about to just waste brain cells kind of talking, but I do see a lot of single men like that. It's some that's married now too and still have like other, children by other.
Say you ain't wasting brain cells. Don't let me catch you no 3 to 4 hour panel.
The women, I don't have to deal with that, but I kind of know they are super, super bitter towards that woman. And then the woman's usually bitter towards them. And I'm just like, man, like, the kids are in the middle. Like, you had 3 children and you didn't marry this woman. Like, you didn't think enough, and for her, I don't get it. I don't understand. But yeah, it's a lot of bitterness out there, man, between married, single. I don't really stay around it in my personal life. Most of the people I know are kind of married friends as well. But I mean, out there in the world, man,
yep,
I see a lot of single, bitter men, really, especially the young ones, because they don't really understand, like, they don't have any experience. And then all it takes is one girl to kind of break his heart. And then that's it after that. Like, he's just like,
it's funny. I think in my space, I think I see more. I agree with that. I think I hear more bitter men than women, or maybe a little bit 50-50, I guess, or how they carry it. But I hear a little bit, just a little bit. I ain't gonna say like it's overwhelming. I hear a little bit more bitter men than women, but I don't think it's the younger ones on my end. The younger one just like, yo, I'm here. Let's it is what it is. They roll with the flow. The older guys, just like, it'd be a lot of complaining. I think I had the list of it. The consistent nagging, then it's the resentment. I don't hear too much of the jealousy. That's pretty much what I hear of. Consistent nagging, the resentment from for the older men, but not really more the younger men.
Forget women, like, they're all bad, they're all this, they're all that. Kind of the same dynamic that, the way the women end up when they kind of get mistreated by the first guy. So Yeah.
I don't think having a bad experience is considered bitter. Because when you get to when a young man get his heart broken, it makes him he removes it. That's not him making an excuse. That's him actually having some kind of solution. He removes himself from the dating market. That's not him being bitter. That's him saying, I do not want to get my heart broken again.
Yeah, but why would you want to do that though? Like, I've been on both sides of the fence. Like either the quote unquote shout out the trash cans way, like either the player or the nice guy, the good guy, all that stuff. So if I definitely got cheated on and disrespected, but I didn't sit there and be like, let me just remove myself from dating. I might have took the route the young lady with the glasses on the top right did, like, yo, let me just take a break, process on myself, and move accordingly. But I still got to do life, right? Still got to get to work, still got she says the children, like examples. You still got regular daily stuff you got to do on a daily. But depending on the relationship, it's like, hey, if I'm in a serious relationship and it ends, yeah, I'm taking a break. But if I'm casually dating, and if I got the time, yeah, I'm gonna go on dates. I'm gonna engage with in the world of the dating world. But I'm not gonna remove myself. I don't agree with that.
Yeah. But how you respond to it though. It's how you
that's
respond
what I'm
to
saying.
it.
Like you removing yourself from the dating market as a young man. If your goals are to have a family, like how are you going to do that if you remove yourself from the dating market?
You're
now if that's not your goals, but most guys want to have a legacy. They want to have children. They want to have a woman. So if those are your goals, then like how do you accomplish those? By literally removing yourself from the dating market. How could you get a job if you remove yourself from the job market if you never search for one?
I think the bitterness comes from, particularly from the men, and it comes from the lack of understanding and acceptance of female nature. I think a lot of men really don't understand how females think and how they operate and how they are biologically.
Sir, if we're gonna go down that rabbit hole, the female nature and the man's nature, that's what actually this, in my opinion, this is what consistently jerks the gender war conversation. I must know the woman's nature. I must know and understand the man nature. Understand yourself first. We understand the basics of the sex that you're trying to attract. Okay. And then once you get with that person, work and learn and understand that person. Okay. Because I can't sit here and say I understand it speaks in the absolute. One man that claims he understands the female nature cannot say I understand all women. You might can generalize, and it might put and navigate and push yourself in very productive, successful, productive situations with women, and that's cool, but it's not 100%. Never would be 100%. Okay, we have gentlemen on the panel, some married, got kids, some single, all across the board said, hey, we have boundaries. This is what we see ourselves. This is how we move, and this is how we carry ourselves moving forward. Okay, so that alone is going to eliminate and put you in a place where women are going to gravitate to you, or you going to approach some women and women are like, you know what, I'll give them a shot. That's how they're going to go. But it's not 100% of like understanding the woman nature and blah, 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 blah. Like, to me, I feel like that's a white noise of echo chamber I hear a lot in the spaces. Because like me growing up in the real world, I never heard nobody tell me something. Yeah, you got to understand the women nature. Nope. When some stuff pop off, they're like, you know what? Typical woman. But they still continue to date, sleep, marry, have children with the typical woman. So even when I give an example, I had one homeboy was like, just complain about his girl. I think he was married to her. I don't know. Just complain. And he's like, man, she talk a lot. And my instant response was, and it wasn't even true, 100% true. I was like, well, you do know women. He's like, man, she talks all the time. I was like, do you know women talk, right? But all women don't talk. There's some really petite, quiet women. There's some women that actually will engage when it's time to engage. There's some women that will socialize when it need to be socialized. There's some women that's like, you know what? I'm just going to just tell you like it is, and I'm going to shut up and keep it moving. If you're not acting right how I know you're wrong, that's it. So again, we can't sit and say understand the women nature, because there's so many different beautiful in the mind, the body with women, and they so complex. The beautiful part of them is being complex. If we sit and try to understand every woman in the freaking world, man, we go mad. We go straight mad trying to understand a woman. Man, you better get out of here with that. Let them but I digress.
And the expectations that they have, from men. I think a lot of them that look at when the women start to speak about the things that are going through, men not being able to correlate that to, female nature and what their intrinsic expectations of men, right? Once men have a really good grasp of this expectation, because it's not just, one or two women, it's pretty much generally all of them have those same type of expectations from men.
I know, right, Jay? I know. Like, I don't care. Yeah, I want to understand Lizzo and Cardi B. I don't care. I know how Lizzo moves. Like, that's not for me. Let me go ahead. I'm not trying to understand Lizzo. I'm not trying to sit Lizzo down or Cardi B. I'm like, hey, let me do a deep dive. Let me make this a case study. I don't care. It's so basic with Cardi B. Cardi B from New York. She was a stripper. She was a hustler. She got her money. Okay, cool. That ain't my type of chick. Cool. Hey, matter of fact, she might be one of the cool peoples, like or the homies or whatever you come across. Like, yeah, I remember Cardi B. Yeah, she was cool people back in the day. That's it. That's it. You're not gonna hear me come out my mouth something. Yeah, man, let me understand the nature of Cardi B and why she drugged other men and why she's on a stripper pole and did what she did and why was she, still holding down her man and baby daddy when he was in prison. I'm not going through. I don't care. Do you, Cardi B? You happy? Bet. Are you hurting other people? Well, you was, but hey, I don't care. Lizzo, another one too. All the back and forth with her. Like, I don't care. I'm not running around trying to figure out Lizzo. Lizzo, you do you. You just not for me. We echo chambering some stuff off of YouTube.
And when they hear these things from women, it shines a mirror in their face. And most of them don't look up or don't live up to those particular expectations. So instead of those individuals saying, hey, like, you know what, maybe I need to rise to the occasion and step up, because hypergamy is a win-win.
Oh Lord!
Right? If you step up, you increase yourself better as men. You begin to get more resources. You get a better sense of who you are, and a lot of things that'll help you to be a better person, not only for yourself but for society. And you will get a really great quality woman from that. If it doesn't work out, you still have those attributes that you built for yourself, and you continuously to be able to grow. So the conversation that I have with a lot of men, it's about, female nature, understanding female nature, and pretty kind of accepting. And
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting red pill vibes right now. I'm getting red pill vibes. Red pill. Oh my God.
And embracing it. It's like, okay, now that you know how these women think, operate, and do, what are you going to do to coexist and to lead so you can get better outcomes?
So textbook red pill right there. So textbook red pill.
I want to go to Will. Since you wrote the question, do you feel like what you said is the same for men as well?
Yeah, when it comes to bitterness, I think it applies to everybody, whether it's man or female. I'm big on accountability, especially for men. And I think I've shared this on the podcast. I think accountability is one of the tenets of masculinity. I wouldn't consider you a masculine man if you don't.
I don't think it was a question to ask. And this is me just shifting over a little bit, because I hear this also when most people say, and I don't hear it a lot, but I hear the accountability conversation But what he's saying is a little bit new for me when he said I hold other men accountable. But the question for me is like, what do we mean by that? Like, and how far do we hold men accountable? Because I'm really thinking of like my knucklehead cousin, right? And I give an example, and or I'll just break it down 3 ways. Like at work, if somebody's doing something at work and it happened to be a man, and it's and it's not per policy, uh it depends if how much I know this guy or I don't. I'm really not saying anything to this guy to hold himself accountable of something that he got hired to do a job and he could potentially get fired. Like he knew when he got hired, he had to interview, HR talked to him, he signed a bunch of papers. Heck, he probably got like warnings of him doing the same shenanigans. Also, the whole company like probably have rumors and gossips about him doing the same stuff. So why would I need to hold that man accountable? Now, again, that's work, right? So I pretty much go to work, do my thing, shut up, mind my business. That is me. Now, family, and I'm thinking of my knucklehead cousin. He will say and do the most craziest stuff, and it just be me and him having these conversations. I will let him know about himself. Like if I'm hearing it, and I'm like, "Cuz, you know that's wrong, right?" Or "Cuz, nah, there's another way." I might hold that as some kind of holding the man accountable, but I'm not going no further than that. Now depends on the level. If I just happen to be there, or he happens to tell me, or if I witness in some shape or form, or even I hear from the grapevine, like, yo, your cuz just like you're hit on a woman, or just some like extreme that I'm not cool with, yeah, I'll make a reach out to him, like, hey, cuz I heard you did this. Like, is it true? And then he said, yeah, like we gotta have a conversation because I can't roll with that, right? But if it's not that extreme, and he's just doing like these little knucklehead shenanigan stuff, a brother, a cousin, a nephew, is a kid that I know that he had like, oh, I got another example. It's this kid, his mom, he was talking about this position that he was looking for at work. And I said, okay, so what's your plan for it? He was like, oh, he want to do the CDL, he want to do this, he want to do that. I say, whoa, how old are you? He's like 19. I say, yo, pump your brakes, pick at least 2 and work with it. And the 2 he picked, I was like, you can kind of juggle that, right? He got a girlfriend. So I would explain to him, like, look, you're young, you got a girlfriend. I'm not saying that girl would be with you in the rest of life. I hope it is. I hope it works out. But just keep in mind for self-preservation, meaning that you still have to do what you need to do for you. And then once if y'all 2 paths, because I'm sure she got a brain of her own, I'm sure she have ideas and thoughts what she want to do in her future. And if it lines up to what you're doing, and that's cool, that's a bonus for you. So he's working, I think he's working at Wendy's. And then I hear through the grapevine that he doesn't work there no more. So I'm thinking like he got him a better job. He took the time out. He went and even, probably got him a part-time job to go focus on the school, to go get the CDL. So I'm thinking all this stuff, right? Okay, great. Then I see him like a month later because I told him like next time if I see him, I'm going to ask him about it. I'm not looking for this kid. It just happened to have a conversation. And we had like a whole deep dive on it because he seemed like he was kind of, I ain't gonna say lost, but he had a plan, but it wasn't in the direction where he was saying. So I was like, okay, cool. So a month later, I happened to see him, and I say, hey, what happened with our plan? And he's like, oh, I'm still this. And I was like, okay, so then I ain't say anything. He said what he said. I moved on. Then I happened to see him again. And I said, yo, so what happened to your job? It's like, you still working at the same job? It's like, no. I said, what happened to it? He said, I quit. I said, why you quit? He's getting like this dumb, again, he's a kid, right? So he get this dumb, goofy answer. And I was like, okay, I didn't scold him about it. I said, well, when you start, I said, you have a new job? He's like, yeah. I said, so when did you get your new job? He said, a few months after. I said, so that time that you was off work, did you go study for the CDL? At least you could have got your permit because you could just go there. I even told him the place. You can go there, do the little whatever. But the fact that he wasn't working, he was unemployed, he can actually got benefits to go take a test, and they would have paid the schooling for him to go for the CDL, because there's guys that's actually training people, but you have to either come out of pocket or the city would pay. But the fact he was unemployed, he pretty much qualifies for that. And I told him, I said, well, the time he was out unemployed, you could have used that time to study, went to go see them guys that gave you some advice, because they pretty much want that business, that it gave you the apps and stuff and gave you notes to go to the do the permits, pay for the test, got your permit, and come back to them. And you could have been like on a 4 to 6 week to 8 week training with them, and they'd have held you down. And then the state, city, whoever would have been coming out of their pocket for you. And it's not like you'd be there all day. You'd probably be like 4 or 3 hours. So I'm telling him that, and he was just like, oh, just looking all up in the air. And I was like, bro, so you was going the 2 months. But again, that's the accountability that I was giving this young man. But again, I wasn't like, that's what I'm trying to understand. Like, what's the level of accountability are we giving men, of all ages? Like, if it happened to come across my table, I have a casual conversation with you, depending on what it is. And I'm a type of person, if you ask me a question and you're coming to me with with something, I'm the type of person you're not going to like what I tell you, because I'm pretty much going to just be as straightforward as I can. Or I'm going to try to be as very polite, because again, this is my first time giving you some real kind of feedback. So that was that with the kid, So, but long story short, he found him a job. That whole gap of him could have used that time productively out the window, but he still was like, hey, I'm on the road of doing that. That's okay. But now you understand you're going to make it harder for yourself, because now you're going to be working a quote unquote full-time job, and you still got your main responsibilities. So there you go. You could add you like a free ride doing that. So I don't know. Shout out to Uncle. I'm trying to figure out is he with us? Sexy. Oh man, I fell for the troll. I fell for it. Shout out to Sitting High Looking Low. Appreciate you. I guess you are new. If you are new, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. It helps everybody out a lot. We also gonna have a group conversation tonight at 7 p.m. Central Time. We pushed the hour back because we're gonna have at least 3 special guests with me, myself, Ruby, and Wes for tonight at 7 p.m. Central. So definitely looking forward to it. So thank you. And you're more than welcome to hang around for engage in the conversation. Anything, complaints, comments, concerns, drop it in the comments below. Appreciate you.
Take accountability for your life and the decisions that you make for yourself and for your family. I do agree with AK. I do believe that most of the problems that we face, I wouldn't say 90%, I would say 100%. If you're a person that takes accountability, you take 100% accountability for all your decisions. And what I do see for a lot of men, and when it comes to bad experiences, we all go through bad experiences. It's called life.
That's true.
Right? We all experience bad experiences, but our life is not defined by our bad experiences. It's defined by how we respond to our bad experiences. And I think for me, you only become bitter if you're a victim. If you're a victim, you're gonna be bitter.
Yep, like the example I gave with the nice special slow person with the when I sent a chat of a question, like, are you went out your way to be disrespectful in a chat, and then when you hit the panel, you decide it's like you expect a different outcome. It doesn't work like that. Is that based because you kind of sort of know the person, but you really don't? That doesn't make any sense. And then so your natural reaction to an actual question is to like say F off, mind your business, which again, we're in the virtual realm. Like, who's not minding their business here? Make that make sense. Make that make sense. Very laughable. So when I hear people say stuff like that, that little engagement alone with themselves, not me engaging with them, but that little engagement alone with themselves shows insecurities, shows some kind of unawareness, some kind of mental illness, something going on there. I know we're not all perfect, but again, that's just one example of, I think somebody was saying earlier about the understanding the nature of a woman. No, I saw how you acting. That's not for me, and that's fine. But I'm not gonna come out my mouth like, oh, she's a B, she's a no. This person got problems. It's not problems that I want to be involved with. Somebody will love her. Somebody will want her. Somebody will want that. Not I. Not I. Shout out to Lauren with the unicorn. Appreciate you. I like your avatar. I know. I hope we ain't about the furries. No, I'm joking. I love the avatar, little unicorn head and everything else. All right. Appreciate you, Lauren. Thank you for coming on through. Says good afternoon. Great Pill. Hope all is well. All is very well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm actually enjoying the cool weather. Here in the South, it get like 65. They feel like they're freezing. I love it. I enjoying it. I'm very enjoying it. If you want to stick around for the conversation, also we have a group conversation, 7 p.m. Central Time. We pushed it back an hour because we have like 3 special guests. We're going to be talking about, if anybody familiar with Jubilee, where's a conversation about fat and skinny. So I have some qualified people going to be on tonight to have the conversation with myself, with Ruby, and Jesus Christ, I almost forgot about you, Wes, and Wes. So we got 3 special guests with us 3 tonight. So thank you for coming on. I appreciate you. And same thing you again, sitting high, sitting low. I appreciate y'all 2 guys for coming on through. Thank you. What Uncle Fatty says. Uncle Fatty says it's easy. It's just life. Respond in kind. Manifest your destiny. Project positivity on your shites. Bad and good. Soon because good with little bad. I agree. I say that would be the most part of trying to understand, understand life in general, understand like how the world work, a little bit more better versus like, let me try to understand the woman's nature. Let me understand the woman nature. No, let's try to understand the credit scores. Let's try to understand the 401k. Let's try to understand like how people acts and interacts with other people. Let's try to understand that. That makes more sense.
And the reason why you're bitter is because you're not doing anything to change your circumstances. You're dwelling in your bitterness.
Yeah, man.
So there are a lot of people that have bad experiences. A lot of people have gone through extreme hardship and the atrocities of things that happen to bad people. But those people have always found ways to overcome it. And I do see there's a lot of men out there, both men and women, but we're speaking about the men. It's just they're not taking accountability for the decisions. They don't take accountability for the woman they choose. They don't take accountability for the responsibilities. And we can sit here and blame about the hookup culture and all these things, encouraging men to do this and do this, do this. But at the end of the day, like what AK said, you have to look at what do you want out of life? What's your outcome? What are the things that you want out of your life as a man? And it's easy to blame the women. But when you usually take a self-reflection and look within yourself, for the most part of the people who are being bitter, if you look at your decisions and what you do, for the most part, you see that a lot of times when we fail or we make mistakes or we go through bad experiences, it always comes down to a poor decision that we made.
Yes.
And if we look back at it deep enough, we take accountability for it, we can make those changes and improve on it. And then when you start progressing, when you start improving as a man, when life starts to get better, you're not going to be bitter because life is improving. But if you're always stuck in the same circumstances and nothing's changing for you, of course you're going to be bitter because you're doing no
internal work within yourself. That's even goes with because I seen one podcast that talked about this where they said you need to improve with just like gaining financial, right? Like your credit score got to be great, have the best career. Okay, cool. But you're still a jerk. You're still depressed. Something's still wrong with you. So you still got to work on every aspect of yourself. So I would say that just don't focus on one thing. Try to focus on everything and get like a great balance for yourself.
Any kind of accountability, any kind of work to change your circumstances. So it goes for both ways, both men and women, but for the men specifically, especially if we're going to be the leaders, because that's one thing I always hear a lot of men say, I want to be the leader. I want my woman to follow me. I want my woman to submit to me. How are you going to be a leader? How are you going to lead a family if you can't even lead yourself?
Bars.
Right. And you shared that before on the podcast before, Damien. Right. That's as a leader, you're accountable. You're accountable for the people you're responsible for. You're accountable for the people that you take care of. But if you can't even take care of yourself, you can't even be responsible for yourself or even accountable for yourself. How are you going to take care of a family or a potential wife or a woman? So I think accountability is just you're only a victim. You're only bitter if you're a victim. But if you take accountability and responsibility for your life and you progress and you improve, then you won't be a victim because you start to get the results. You start to get changes, and you start getting the things that you want out of life. And when your life improves and you progress, you can't be bitter if your life is improving. You're only bitter when you're always still in the exact same position as before.
I got Sharon. Sharon, you're very expressive.
Yeah,
what do you got to say to
faces?
that, Sharon? You cannot hide
it's just I just don't think a lot of young men get a fair shake. Like when I'm hearing the conversation, it doesn't sound like they're getting a fair shake. If a young man sees that the dating market is not good, is polluted, and is dirty, and he removes himself and he built himself up as a human being, he gets more intelligent, he gets a better job, he gets it because there's a lot of young men that they living by themselves, they single, they out there doing their thing, they got the cars, they got the income and everything. They remove themselves because they cannot find a woman suitable, at least in this dating market right now, to be able to build a relationship. That's how come they are waiting so long to have children. That's why men are not having children at this point. So they are being accountable. They being so accountable that they are not even blaming women anymore. They just say, you know what? Yeah, women, do your thing. I'm removing myself from this dating market. And I'm gonna go across seas, spend my $40 on a dirty foot woman, and then I come back and I go back to work.
Is that accountability though?
Yeah, that's just like that's running from accountability. I was like, hold on.
Exactly.
I'm gonna ask a question, Sharon.
That was the most echo chambered. That was so echo chambered I have ever heard in my life. Oh man.
Yeah. What are some of the, do you feel like the mechanisms that really would keep men from falling into bitterness are readily available, and are they accepted and appreciated by other men? Because a lot of the things that women do to avoid bitterness, they talk to each other, they engage, they cry, they commiserate with other women, they have they just kind of really dive deep into their emotions related around whatever trauma might have left them and kind of start to lead them down a path of bitterness. Do you feel like what mechanisms are accepted by men? Those things generally, if men do that, they're looked at a certain kind of way. If a man said, you know, I'm gonna go to my boy house and I just need a hug from my brother just to tell me things are gonna be all right, just be like, oh, what's wrong with you? You know, do you feel like the mechanisms that men have that could possibly lead them out of, keep them out of bitterness are accepted? Because what you just said was they need to get away and just become all this shit. What if they don't become all this shit? What if they don't get smarter? What if they don't make more money? What if they don't get in shape or what have you? What happens to them? They just gotta just
facts. Because if you grab your passport and run over there to some, forget these women, and now you projecting, Sharon. I'm sorry, you projecting. But if you're talking about forget these women, and then they over on another country trying to get another type of these women, those women, it's gonna really make them bitter. So if you are the same person who you are in one place and you relocate and go somewhere else, you're still taking yourself with you. You still take yourself with you. So understand that. And which is even silly too. Why would you go out your way to which I understand. I'm not harping over it too much, but there's like what 50 states. If we want to move, if we're going to go to a whole other country on the sole purpose of trying to get a woman, there's 50 states, and within them 50 states is like what, city after city after city. That's crazy. That's crazy. Shout out to Apex. Jay says, I'm Dustin up in Mexico. I'm American. Women reject me. Exactly. We got 50 states. We got 50 states. Enjoy all them 50 states. Matter of fact, take road trips. I think we had that conversation early in the Grey Pill podcast. That was like a suggestion. Go take a road trip. Go visit states. Go visit each little city of the states, or better yet, make a little to-do list. It's fun. I promise you. I'm a big foodie and a beach person. If I find a beach somewhere, I'm out.
What, they just got to be bitter for the rest of their lives? Most men don't do all of those things. You find a select few that may have it the wherewithal to do all those things, but
I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't, not the country part, going out and visiting another country. If you're like a regular 9 to 5 guy, it might be like a every other month type thing if you want to visit other countries. But during road trips every month, you got a typical Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. You can do that every week. Go visit a state every week. But don't do that sole purpose. Just go get some buns. That doesn't make any sense.
A lot of them that do it, they do it for revenge. They want to get back at the women. So a lot of them, they get in these positions and then they treat women bad.
Facts.
Because they got treated bad. They're like,
and then they'll throw it is crazy. Then they'll throw in their face, hey, I hate the women here, so let me go to another country and then be praying around with the hot chick, which might be a man. We don't know. But then they're coming around like, see, this is what y'all not doing. This is what I want. This is what I've been longing for the long time. like blah 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 blah. That why it's like, why even do that, bro? If you felt like you won, just be happy that you won. Don't downput technically you literally projected. Don't downput a whole slew of women because based off of 1 or 2 or 3 experiences because you made the choices to pick the wrong type of women. That's a you problem. Trust and believe me. I picked a lot of wrong women in my day. A lot of wrong women, but I didn't sit there and be like, hey man, it's everybody. Nope, never did that. If that one chick was a bitch, guess what? It was that chick. It wasn't every other woman. Every other woman. And if I'm picking the poor choices of women consistently, then I need to go back and take the nice lady where she sent her advice with, like, you know what? I need to take a break, work on me, process me, and then just learn a little bit more better. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the alone time maybe is not what I need, but maybe I need some like a group of positive friends circles, like in long extended relationship, even if they're not married, long healthy relationship. Maybe I need to gravitate more to those people and like, hey, let me conversate with them. Let me get some extra tools in the belt, but not be portraying on all women as if because of my poor excuses. That's crazy. Shout out to the passport bros.
Now all the women want me, and I'm gonna make them feel like how they made me feel because they didn't deal with the underlying trauma in the first place. So go ahead.
Can I just add in?
Yeah, whatever.
I was just gonna say, Sharon, are you talking about do you feel like your statement was towards majority of men or just like maybe a group of men?
Good question.
I think it's towards the majority of young men.
All right.
And when I say young men, I think 30 and under.
30 and under.
Yeah, I think the men that is 30 and under, they having a problem finding women that generally like them. They like them for if they have a car, they have a good job, they have money, but finding somebody that actually generally just like them for being who they are as a person, they having a difficult time with that.
I think I disagree with that because I think it's way easier for a man to find a woman, any woman at that, than a woman to find, a man who want to lead, a man who wants to provide, and just a good man all around. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I feel like I even put up a question on Instagram and I said, hey, men, would you prefer your woman to be a stay-at-home wife and she takes care of the kids, et cetera, or do you want your wife to work? And
they want the work. A lot of men I know, they prefer their women to work. More money in our pockets. That's pretty much what I hear. My woman working, I'm working, more money in our pockets. Why she need to be home all day for? That's literally what they say. Why would she need to be home all day? Now, if she having a baby, I understand for some time. If she after she had the kid, I understand some time. That's where we got the grandma and the aunties for. That's pretty much what a lot of men I know be saying that we're good. She can work.
all but one said, I need her ass to work.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right,
mean?
because
And just-
the reason why most young men are saying that because from what they've seen,
It's not all young men. It's young men, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Unless you got it like that and you're in that capability, you making a choice to say, hey, I'll prefer, not I want, not I'm a command. I prefer my woman. Because again, everybody is different. Back to the nature of a woman. Nature of a woman. All women are different. Some women like, yo, I'm good being a housewife. So take care of me. I'll do everything that you need me to do, ask for me to do. I'll hold the house down. I'll hold everything else down. When you work and you're busy and stuff pop off, I know how you like certain things or how like they good, they got you. But again, that's a conversation dynamic how y'all work. Because again, that's her intent. Some women intent just to be the housewife. Some women like, yo, you know what? I'm good working. And then once the let's say the guy start making a little bit more, the woman like, you know what? I'm still good working, but you know what? I'd rather have a part-time job. That was literally my mom. She had the career, everything else. Her and my stepdad got together and just like later down the line, not just off the rip, not just off the beginning, like submit. No, not off the rip, down the line. Everybody saw the money was going, everything was cool, collective, consistent. Okay, great. Part-time for me. We both retired. I still want to work. Didn't need the money. Hey, I'll do a part-time. Okay, cool. That's how it goes. All women are not the same. Shout out to the women's nature.
women that did stay home, they not appreciative of their man.
Those women.
Taking and provide for them. They say they feel like they need freedom. They feel like they was slave to the household. Like, you know, we hear Tia Mowry saying that I need to make myself happy. I was worried about him, doctor's notes, kids, taking them to school, everything that the woman that is being so-called taken care of,
those women
all sound bitter.
Those women.
And so now men's like, I do not want to make you bitter, because if I start,
that don't sound bitter. That sound frustrated. That sound very frustrated. Yeah, they was venting. That sounded like he was frustrated.
Picking up and I start cleaning and I cooking. And then guess what? Now I'm just not a man anymore, because you want to shame me into paying all the bills. And men, these young men are not being shamed into paying the bills anymore.
I just have a question though, like what, as far as what you're saying, like what percentage, like I'm curious to find out the percentage.
Oh Lord, I ain't gonna lie. When I hear people talking about percent, that's a red pill right there for me. Not saying she is, but that is that little manosphere red pill. Like, what percentage do you think? Which would be fair? Because he was saying some very extreme stuff, but again, can't speak in absolutes. I don't know why. I don't know why Sharon's head just leaned over like that. Stop it. All right, back to the conversation.
Because I don't think it's as big of a margin as you're maybe saying that it is.
It's
not. I
not.
really don't. I honestly don't think so.
It's not.
So I think it's a bit. I think it's 51% or greater of the young men, 30 and other. They feel this way. They feel like, no, we are going to split everything 50-50 because you do not appreciate a man that is taking care of 100% of the bills.
You said 51%.
I feel like
Jeez.
Kevin Samuels have messed up a lot of that 30 and under generation. I think because when he was explaining high value men, they were confused. They thought they were in that range of high value men, and he wasn't talking about them.
Speculation.
I really think he messed a lot of them up.
Sharon, let me interject.
Stop leaning into your mic.
So, do you think it says women don't appreciate it, or is it a fact that I'm just, and this is a question to play devil's advocate, do you feel like they haven't seen it enough because that hasn't been a behavior that was probably modeled for them, where they were in a household where the men was paying half the bills, their mama was out there working, so they don't expect that a man who says they're going to do that is going to really do that. And if they do it, I think it might just be for the short term, maybe while they have kids, maybe, early on, but
maybe they're not having the conversations with their woman like it need to be had. Maybe that might be it too. Maybe nobody not holding boundaries. Maybe nobody not vetting properly. Maybe nobody like, hey, understanding what each other intent. Maybe nobody's not communicating properly with one another. Maybe.
Do you feel like it's just like they just don't trust it enough because they haven't seen it working long term?
I think most young men that see they mother work hard, that's what gives them the motivation to pay all the bills. They want to take their mother out of the working force. They also want to take their woman out the working force. That's what gives them the drive to say, I'm going to make sure I take care of her because I seen how stressful it was for my mother. And
okay, now we're getting somewhere. So again, that's why I said earlier, you're talking about a selective group of men because of their mother was in a situation, and you're comparing the stressful situation they have tied into their mother to the current woman that they're with or not with or want to be with. So again, everybody's not the same. Most mothers, if they was with a husband for a long period of time and something happens with that woman, which happened to be the wife, something happened to the husband, he got her well taken care of. Like again, I think like two gentlemen here. I know Damien a little bit better. So let's say for Damien said, hey, he paid a larger portion of the bills, or pretty much all the bills, right? But him and his wife have been together for like 20-some years, so they've been there longevity to say, hey, you know what, if something happens to me, I know you and the kids will be taken care of. So if one of his children, i.e. the son, and the son is dating in this situation that Sharon's talking about, and he's dating somebody, and then he don't have to feel the pressure of what's going to happen with mom, because mom is good. Okay, there's two different dynamics within that one gender, which again explains again what I said earlier. Everybody is not the same. There's always nuances and situationships within that one gender, but we always fighting against each other. Just understand yourself, not the woman's nature. Never understand that, and take the time out to focus on what your intent is and go from there. Shout out to you almost got me, Uncle Fat. I was going to read you up, but I know you're trolling. Shout out to Apex. Apex said this man, Sharon, was capping the whole lot. Yeah. The head movement was enough for me. What's going on? Like, because one of them actually living in the weird YouTube mentality world. I feel like 1, 2. I know I ain't gonna lie. I like her on the top right because I feel like she's very real and genuine. I didn't hear too much of the woman right here. But yeah, and then the guy Will. I've seen a lot of his content. He's pretty much like me a little bit. Like, let's navigate the conversation. But a lot of his interview I saw was pretty well. So I feel like he's very genuine. I ain't gonna lie. The chick on the bottom. I'm just simping for her hair. I like her hair. But she's coming with. I'm getting vibes from her like she's either some kind of counselor or therapist or mentor or something. Because a few of the things she said sounds like very let me help, let me guide, let me inform people in the right direction. A little bit of stuff she said, but yeah, I feel like 1, 2, 3, 4 out of maybe 5 people is very genuine with the stuff they share. Yeah, Sharon, right at this moment with this conversation, Sharon's full of cat.
I couldn't do nothing about it when I was little, and now that I'm old enough to actually do something about it, I'm gonna take care of my mother and my wife and my children. That's what usually happens with.
I don't know if I agree with that with Sharon, but I'm gonna let AK jump in there because I saw him saying something. He told him not his head.
I kind of agree with it though. I mean, I grew up with a single mom and I knew how hard it was for her, but I will say that even though it was hard for her, I mean, I didn't really know what nurturing was until I met my wife. Like, I didn't know what it was to be around like a soft woman that was feminine. I didn't know what that was.
So your mother was just throwing blows when she gave birth to you. Like, I know a lot of people, moms ain't the best mother out there, but you're not gonna tell me nobody mother would just like you know what? Let me just stop.
And then I was like, wow, like, was this supposed to be like? I'm like, yeah, I'm never letting this go. But as far as like, I'd say
so your mother just never gave no kind of empathy, no kind of sympathy, No kind of form of affection, huh? She was just the most masculine mofo. Let's continue.
Difference between, you know, the men and the women, like who can find who. I think the majority of men are single, right? I mean, the majority of men are single,
and the majority of women is
childless,
single
by the
too.
way. So,
and the majority of
I
women
think
is
that,
childless
you know,
too.
he is right. I mean, I think it's easier for. I think in the beginning, women have all of the leverage, right? They have all of the leverage because basically they control sex and guys want sex. So women have all of the leverage in the beginning, and then later on, kind of.
But if he says gatekeeping the access, I'm gonna fall out. I'm hearing the red pill manosphere YouTube social media talking point.
You know, once guys get past that 30-year-old mark, that's when they have the leverage. It's difficult though, because if you wait so late.
Yo, you caught that too, Uncle? You caught that too? That was spot on the talking point right there. Spot on. Red pill / Chad talking point goes. Most humans just want a equal, a back and forth or of support through life's dreams and goals. Good luck with single income. Life ain't cheap. Yeah, that's literally the talking point right there.
Hey, I mean, I got friends that are like 30.
Because now, and this, I'm pretty much poking the bear a little bit, because he said he has kids. So is he married? How long can he be married? So that is the question right there. Because if he isn't, that kind of like knocked down his whole I gotta say narrative, but his whole perspective.
35, 36, 37 don't have kids, and they're like kind of still, you know, and they're now I'm pushing them towards that, but I'm like, dude, like you're gonna be 50 with a 5-year-old, like, you know, that might suck for real, you know, like.
Hey, I'm going to be honest with you, sir. I know people that they're men at their 50s that had children. I know women past their 40s that has children. I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm not using this as of, hey, let's give the women and men hope, but I'm just telling you, they doing their thing. People are still planting seeds and having babies.
But for the women, it's like you don't have that though. Like you don't have that much time. You know, you can't wait until you 30 years old to start trying to be a wife, or, you know, being wifey material, or kind of doing your own thing with your career. It's like you can't wait that long. You don't, which is what I preach to my daughter. Like you can't wait that long. If you wait that long, more than likely you'll be out of luck.
Okay, so I'm confused now. Hold up. Processing. Okay. I'm getting my little pen and paper out. I was gonna end it at 2, but this just got good when Sharon opened his mouth. That's got good when Sharon opened his mouth. All right, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Jay, that's what. Hold on, let me, because yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, hold on, because it's a lot here. It's a lot. Let me appreciate you, Vega, for coming on through. I got a lot. I was gonna end it. I'm gonna give it 30 more minutes. We have a group conversation tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern about fat versus skinny. It's a Jubilee conversation. You're more than welcome to go check it out, because everybody pretty much saw it. So we're gonna have the discussion. Half didn't see it, but most people did. We're gonna have 3 special guests on tonight with me, Wes, and Ruby. Where so I'm not gonna tell nobody the spoilers of the guests, but I'll introduce them when they come on tonight. So I'm very excited they're coming on. So very, very special guests coming on tonight. Shout out to Vega. Vega says that's true. My friend accidentally got pregnant at 40. Yeah, I'm not, because again, and this is what I'm taking it, because that's the actual fact, right? That's an anecdotal fact, because somebody I knew, my ex I knew back in the day, her dad is like, geez, he was like maybe 60, and he has a kid. And then it flipped her out, because she's like, oh wow, this is like my, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like my kid and my dad's kid is like around the same age. And they like, it irked her nerves. And I didn't even take it as like, whoa, he can have kids. I wasn't even shocked because I'm like, of course he can have kids. And then the woman that he was with was like in her 50s. Had a healthy baby, went through a normal pregnancy. Like, it's crazy. Just said how's the daughter. I think he said the age earlier. I forgot, man. I just want to say right now, and I'm just making a number because it's sticking to my head. I want to say 12, but he said it earlier. 32 late. He's at home, dusting up. Ooh. Apex said he's setting his daughter up for failure. Vega says you just never know. Exclamation point. Want to encourage women to get pregnant that late, but it's definitely But then see, this is where we're going to get into it. So this is where we're going to get into it because that's what's out of the process. Because all right, in the back of my head, right, I'm thinking of a number, age 12. Okay, I'm writing it down. So let's just say at age 12, and that's where the earliest. Because again, we got the weird guys out there, right? The weird guys, they say if it's legal, they'll handle it. That's what they say. So you're telling me at age 12, she's haven't hit high school yet. 2 more years, she's at high school. Between the ages of 14 to 19, we'll say 14 to 18, because usually 19 is still in high school too. So you're telling me between 14 to 18, that's 4 to 5 years. She's a kid. She's thinking about stuff going on in high school. Among getting good grades. While she's getting good grades, the goal is to encourage her to like, hey, do you want to do college? Do you want to pursue college? Do you want to pursue, what career? Do you want to be in the army? Do you want to be in the military? Do you want to take a trade position? Because that's the thing now, okay? Because who want to spend $50,000 and more for somebody in college? So 4 to 5 years, she's been a typical teenage girl. Hopefully she's been raised right by either both or one of the parents, because that's not a weird thing. It's an actual new thing. So while that's going on, so you mean at the same time we're exercising the 12-year-old at the age 12 young, between the ages of 14 and 18, to encourage in the 4 to 5 years to say, hey, start having a baby young. So that means now, and again, remember, the brain's not even developed until like what we said, 25, 26. So now we got after high school, we're thinking about college, some kind of career, maybe the army, maybe the military, maybe the Air Force, because a lot of people we know, they all comes back with the same full circle. Once they leave high school, 18 to 19, go straight into a career like the army or the military. And once they come back out, they was very appreciative of the experience, whether it was good or bad, because it taught them a lot, especially about life. Because again, that little bubble most people keep saying they're in, they learned more from that experience versus staying still in one place. That's why I suggested earlier just traveling. If you're going to still live in the same town, at the very least go travel and visit, because everybody else that you grew up with, at least more than half moved out the town and spaces you lived at. That's 100%. So now you're telling me at age 18, they're going to pursue a career, which is understanding that's what you want to encourage your young daughter and young man. But we're going to keep it a little girl because that's where we at. So that means from between the ages of 19 and 27, she's either in college, holding down some kind of career. So while that time of 19 and 27, you're telling me she should already find somebody while she's pursuing a career or trying to maintain something for herself, because that's what you're supposed to do. Find something for yourself, because in the real world, you have to work, you have to go to college, you have to do something. You have to do something. Whether you're working at McDonald's, whether you're working at Wendy's, you have to do something in real life to sustain an apartment or house or car or something, right? So while this female is doing this, that means that at the same time while she's doing this, between the ages of 19 and 27 or 19 and 30, they got to find a man, vet him, get pregnant, get married, get pregnant by the age of 30. Because if they don't, then it's too late. And if after the age of 30, 31, and they don't have a baby, but they got the career, then they screw. That's what we're saying? Is that what we're saying? Like, come on. Jedi Mike with the googly eyes, shout out to you. Vegas says very young mothers are usually the most neglectful. Yeah, no experience. And it all goes back down to that's why I said earlier, down to the person who's raised them. Mom, both parents, or one, a good guardian, somebody. Because I know plenty, but I'm thinking about one on top of my head where one was like at 12 to 14, had a kid young, didn't know any they was a kid themselves. Then they had like 5 other kids after fact, like just fail after fail after fail. And then now they're adults and talking about my children is my best friends. What? What? My children's my best friends. I don't think so. Your children. Just said, I'm gonna be flipping burgers in the front with a dating app open. Facts, man. Get that open. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's get back to the conversation.
It's a woman.
But don't you feel like preaching that to your daughter is going to make her be in a state of, okay, I got to find a man, I got to find a man, and that's how they end up with the wrong men?
No, because she can't find a man. She has to be chosen.
What? Crap. I had to stretch that one out. I played it back. That got me good. That one got me good.
Like, you don't have that much time. You know, you can't wait until you 30 years old to start trying to be a wife, or, you know, being wifey material, or kind of doing your own thing with your career. It's like, you can't wait that long. You don't, which is what I preach to my daughter. Like, you can't wait that long. If you wait that long, more than likely, you'll be out of luck as a woman.
But don't you feel like preaching that to your daughter is going to make her be in a state of, okay, I got to find a man, I got to find a man, I got to find a man, and that's how they end up with the wrong men?
No, because she can't find a man. She has to be chosen.
No, I agree with that. But what I'm sitting there saying is, if you're putting the pressure on her, that's like telling a woman, like, well, when you gonna have a kid? Like, I know I got friends who don't have kids. They want to have kids, but at the same time, they're making the choice not to just have a kid with anybody, because at that point, they're not taking their accountability by coming across a man that wasn't for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because there was a woman on one platform. She was expressing very deeply. She said, "Hey, I'm 35. I want a child. I want a child. It's like all my life, I know I could be a good mother. I want a child. My last relationship I was pregnant with somebody, and I had a miscarriage, and it hurt me dearly. So it's like, in my mind, I'm hearing like this person is just going to go ahead and sacrifice everything else just to have a kid, just cause. I remember a friend from high school was telling me what this example this lady is saying. A woman was like, yo, but she was very spiteful. Like this is exactly a perfect example of bitter. She's just like, we're just like so against men, how men acted and how men treated her, and all this little venom that she was spewing out. And she was telling her friend, because her friend was telling me this story, and she was like, she want to go get either a surrogate or have children of her own, or go to the sperm bank. And I was like, well, what's the reason for her to go there? Like, is there medical complications or something like that? She's like, no, just based because she couldn't find a suitable man, a suitable partner. That's why she's doing that. And I was like, wow, really? Because she had I was like, well, can you explain me how she is? So she explained. I was like, maybe it's her personality, maybe it's her, maybe it's something. I'm not gonna say like, unless you really got to work on yourself. But like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the sperm bank, just like have a baby, just cause. And then you still ain't even worked on yourself, like mentally, and you just gotta have a baby. Then you're gonna then let's just see if that baby just happened to be a girl, and then all that energy you told this chick about how you felt like all men is, and then you're gonna put that same vibe on the little girl, the same way he's talking about, hey, he's talking about this little girl, and then that one gonna be feeling like, oh, I'm under pressure to have a kid. Like there's women now, but like, yo, like I hear them say this even as a joke. It's still in your brain, it's still in your subconscious. I still hear women say like, I'm 31, I guess I'm 31. I'm like, what I mean? Well, I don't have kids yet. Okay. Well, I really want to have kids. Well, take your time out, find one. I'm sure they're out there. Find the right guy with the same intent as you. But also understand, if it doesn't happen, be prepared for that too. Do you just really want to have a baby with the wrong person for quote unquote the right situation according to you? No. That's weird.
Right. I'm not gonna say a bad man. I'm just gonna say a man who wasn't for them. You know what I mean? So they can make the decision and be like, hey, well, I'm gonna have a kid with you because I'm 30 creeping up on me, and I just need to get it knocked out. But it's just like at the end of the day, now you're giving that child. You knew from jump, me and you weren't a match, and we brought a child into this world. Now this child has to grow up in a single parent household, or I'm bringing in a stepdad and you bringing in a stepmom, and it's just kind of like, it's unfair to a child. And for someone who grew up in that, sometimes people step back and be like, okay, I want to do it right. You know what I mean? Look at Ashanti and Nelly. You know what I mean? I don't know their life, but what I'm saying they're saying is she's 40 years old with a kid, and everybody, of course, looked like, they were happy for the couple wise. But I think the flip side to it is just like, oh man, she is 40. You know what I mean? That could be intimidating.
And I think that is the problem right there. Like that is what people are preaching to young women to wait. They are preaching to wait, and this is why young men cannot find suitable women, because they tell them, go ahead and have your whole face, go live your life, girl, get your career, go date, don't take nothing serious.
Yeah, but that's media saying that though. I mean, it's not a large of people that's media saying that. That's media saying that. It's not a large amount of people in the real life is saying that. I mean, you're gonna see some ratchet chicks. Like let's not get it twisted. You're gonna see some ratchet women out there, but it's not every woman running around to some. Yeah, it's not. Trust me, I've seen some stuff like women just like come in with their little baby, the arm baby, and one baby just down walking around just all over the place, and they just cursing and carrying around the kid. Trust me, I know it's you have those. You have those. We're not gonna never knock that out. We have those, but at the same time, that's not everybody. So I don't know, it's the little small bubbles that people exaggerate it, inflate it more than what it is.
Wait and wait and wait. And then a young man, he's out there grinding, he's doing his thing, and he's attempting to look for a solid woman, but everybody's telling those women to wait. So they can't find a mate.
Agreed.
Okay. Disagree. Shout out to Von Bryant. Appreciate you, good sir. Blessing the players and happy holidays. Happy holidays to you. We are going to have a great group conversation tonight at 7 p.m. Central Time. Hope to see you there. Matter of fact, hope to see you here for this conversation. Give it like 15, 20 more minutes. Because matter of fact, if I should just went ahead and just move this conversation up to when Sharon started talking, because it just started getting very interesting. Very interesting. Appreciate you, good sir. We got to push it forward, Vaughn. Always push it forward. Vega said, I seen mothers yell that, yeah, this right in the I'm telling you, right in the store. Right in the store. And here I am just looking around like, can they just hurry up and just purchase their stuff and leave? And then when they're about to purchase their stuff, like, you want something else? F, come on, man, get your and go. Hurry up. And I'm like, please, Lord. She just hurry up and just pay the stuff, walk out the door. So I just get my one bag and just buy my bag and or pay my gas. Just go. Can we just please hurry this up? Please hurry. Matter of fact, I actually look. I don't know if you do this, Vega, but if I go to like, let's say, grocery, I'm just using Walmart for example. If I'm walking toward the aisles, you can't help it if you're like a gas station, you're pretty much screwed there. But if I'm walking toward an aisles, I see multiple aisles, I'll go to the left aisle. Or if I see like people with multiple kids stuff, and the kids can be sweet, I don't know this. I try not to take a chance. I'll literally just divert and go to like either the lesser aisle just cause, or I will walk to the furthest end to the self-checkout just to get it done and out the way. Just for that example alone. Like, I don't want to be there when that kid, and I don't want it because I have no poker face. Like when it comes to kids and stuff like that, I have no poker face. If you see, like when it's summer, stuff like that, if you see me in public, I probably just throw shades on just cause. I just like, I might be rolling my eyes. I'm like, man, tell you, just don't know.
Wait, so
question for Sharon.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because you said that a lot of.
Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and say this too, Figure. Now, if I like, because I'm a little bit petty or something. Like, if that happens, and I'm with my homeboy, more importantly, if I'm with my like quote unquote girl, if I'm dating with somebody at the time, man, we're talking about them all in the car. I'm just gonna let you know right now. That's me 100%. If we dating and we're sitting there and that situation happened, we get in a car, trust and believe, we talking about them. We're talking about them. At the same time, praising the good Lord that it's not us.
Men today, young men, find it hard to find a woman. But how are they going to find a woman if they remove themselves from the dating market?
Because a lot of men tell these young men that they need accountability. So now they following y'all words. They saying, I'm not going to be dating the Instagram girl. I'm not going to be dating the chick that got her this and that. And so they remove themselves and they go ahead and grind. They go into the gym. They go into that work office. They put in the hours. They make them. I was with two young. They was both under 30 millionaires. And they said they cannot find nobody. And they got everything. The crib, the cars, and the money.
That's, man, that is so much cap. That is so much cap. It's Sharon, you're so stuck with this like YouTube. This is echo chambers all the way to the 1,000. All the way to the 1,000. Come on. It's a them problem. It got to be them. It's a you problem. It's a you problem. Like, that's what I'm saying. We got to be 100% honest with ourselves on stuff that we do. If that guy, again, back to the age range we was giving the women, we're giving the men, right? That man from high school on up got his career, right? He's so focused, because that's what I'm hearing from the two men here. They focus on their grind. So 14 to 18 high school, they ain't think about no women. They on their grind. And then from high school on up, after high school, they went to college. He said they became millionaires. Okay, I want to see all these millionaires, because last time I checked, it was 1% of top earners in the state. So I want to see these millionaires. So these millionaires now somehow didn't, every woman they came across, they couldn't find a real good woman. They couldn't. So the same advice we telling these women, like, yo, work on yourself and it's that third. We're supposed to be working ourselves too. So obviously it's the same thing we just said earlier. If we're going and we're having failed relationship after failed relationship after failed relationship, right? Or mistakes, because you can fix a mistake. I ain't gonna say fail no more. So I apologize. If you have a mistake after mistake, you can fix your mistake. You can correct your mistake because you have to look at yourself at that point. So if this dude is telling me about some millionaires after millionaire, it got to be a you problem. So the same thing, the only person who was honest was that woman up there in the yellow. She recognized her mistakes in her past relationship, said, you know what? Let me take time out to work on fix me. And let me have my ears open and listen to what other men was telling me when these potential relationship or these male friends of hers was telling her about her. She didn't have to listen to everything they said. She said, hey, this sounds like this makes sense. I'm going to work on that. And she went further, not listen to all the friends' advice, because the friends get all the advices. Hey, let me go out there, get some therapy, get some counseling, do all the stuff that's healthy for and beneficial for me. She the only one honest up here. And this one giving some anecdotal experience about some other guys, some they're millionaires and they never found any woman. Bro, I've been on both sides of the end of the sticks. Respected, disrespected, nice guy, good guy. They are there if you choose to stay with them. If you choose to have the patience. And FYI, I'm gonna tell a secret out there, ladies and gentlemen. Some guys, hey, some men out there, when they get to those millionaire levels or whatever, they call it what they call it? Was it? I forgot the name of it. It's like, it's not ageism or mental age crisis. I don't even believe in that. I think men have that when they get to a level of, hey, I never had this before, so now I get $1 million or I get this kind of success or this hot little chick, so now I'm just going to act a fool. That's pretty much what a lot of men go through, okay? A lot of men go through that phase where, hey, you know what? I've been unsuccessful in all my life, and now I get some success. I'm going to act cuckoo, cocoa, stupid for Cocoa Puffs, and that's when they go. That's pretty much what they do. All right, now I threw it out there. Cat's out the bag. So that's what I think his millionaire friends went through. They probably wasn't they probably was, but now they're seeing more options that they want than versus what they need based on their income and their success. And now they're playing I don't know, I haven't seen them out. Man, get out of here. Everybody see a good woman. Everybody see a good woman. Let's not act like it. Let's not act like we don't see no good women. There's good women out there. There's good people out there. If there's good people, there's good women. Shout out to Inky. Appreciate you, Inky, for coming on through. Inky, we're going to have a group conversation. It's going to be a good one. Have 3 special guests coming on tonight. We're actually putting an hour early back, so it's going to be 7 p.m. Central Time. So it's going to be a really, really good conversation. QQ, what's up? Appreciate you. Says what's up. Everybody say what's up to War. It says what's up, Gray, in the chat. We appreciate you, good sir. Yes, I think that middle age crisis is set on those type of men in their mid to late 20s, 30s. Because I feel like, and this is a theory. It just spawned out now. The theory of the middle age crisis is only upon the guy that he wanted or yearned for so long, and then once he get to a certain level of success, meaning like, hey, the really good job with the benefits and the perks, and then other stuff start coming with it. So it's like, oh, I got this, but I want this to match up to what it is, knowing that person has a good girl, a good woman around him, because they're there. And then now they start acting their nose to spite their face. Like it's happened. So that's why I think. So my thought process now is when I hear middle age crisis, I don't think that's a real thing. I just think it's on the men that didn't really have, but they always want it. And when they get to a situation where they feel like they can get what they want, and then they act stupid. Shout out to the Passport Bros. Who else reading? Shout out to Von says, so many people sabotage a relationship because they refuse to look at themselves. They are so busy looking out the window that they forget to look into the mirror. I agree. I agree. Uncle Fatty says, no way, GP. The world is against them for sure. Ha. Crappy attitude and smug confidence has nothing to do with it. Yep. Hey, don't forget to say what's up to Ward. Ward don't be over here that much, but when he do, he come in with the comments and likes. So I appreciate you Ward for coming on through. Uncle Fatty says, but really, they spend more time looking at the mirror than the one. That's true. Because I'm on a whole beanie phase. I don't even care. I be wearing t-shirts, sneakers, jeans, sweatpants. I'm in a whole different phase. Let's get the conversation.
And they can't find nobody.
But Kasim, are you seeing that? I want to ask. I'm sorry. Well, go ahead. Finish your question, brother.
No. I understand where Sharon is coming from, but I think what a lot of guys are struggling with.
That's right. Put some respect in
right?
Some respect in
I apologize. Is they're working on. I think that if you want to be good at something, you have to practice it. So I do agree with the going to the gym, improving your finances, because that makes you attractive to women. But at the end of the day, you still have to deal with women and understand how to deal with them once you attract them. So I think by removing yourself in the dating market, you can become more attractive to women. But then when they come into your life, they don't know how to maintain a relationship with a woman because they removed themselves in the dating market. And I think that's what's missing in the conversation when it comes with the dating pill, is that in the red pill, the manosphere, whatever space online, like they're telling them the information how to be more attractive.
Hey, well, just go like this.
Information how to maintain a relationship with a woman. That's where I see that the disconnect is.
Ask these 3 women, how often do they tell young women to go ahead and find a man, lock him down, and get him to marry you? Ask those 3 women that. And then we'll have this conversation, honestly.
Yeah.
We already know, I can't see the names, but the doctor, she already said, like, kind of wait. She already kind of suggested that in a sense. But ask all the women, how do they tell the young women that's around them about men?
Okay, let's go. We're gonna go to
emotional damage.
All right. Let's ask you first.
I think all you guys have very fair viewpoints. I am a big believer in timing. What's meant for you will be for you. What is destined for you will not miss you. Regardless, you can postpone it, you can prolong it. What is designed for you will come about how it needs to come about. So for me, I didn't go looking for my boyfriend. It just happened. We actually went to the same high school. He ended up joining the military. Like, life happened and we reconnected. So again, I don't think it's wrong to tell somebody to wait. And I don't think it's wrong to push somebody if they're on a time crunch to get married. It's what's suitable for that person who you're speaking to.
Bars. I've been saying this over and over again. Case by case by case on the individual. We can't put one experience and then make it everybody experience. You can't do that. Then you can't do, which Will was saying earlier in the little the communities that he listed. You can't, because a lot of them they speak on absolute. If you do these 3 things, you automatically going to get a wife, a woman that counts the kid. That's not 100% true neither. That is not 100% true neither.
For example, I have friends that are driven in their career and they have different goals and ambition and drive due to their own circumstances. Some want to get a man and want to get married. I think it just really depends on the person that you're talking to and what they see for their future. I don't think there's a wrong or right way to seek or receive what is meant to happen for you. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So that's my belief.
Look at him sip that cup. That must have been a good job of juice.
On that is, I feel like if it's meant to be, it will be. I don't believe in forcing anything that shouldn't be forced.
Facts.
I know I have an 8-year-old, she made some very valid points. Doctor made some very valid points on.
Is she a doctor? Well, once you know she a doctor in, well, to pick that brain.
If you could have done things differently and picked a better partner, you should have, instead of rushing into something, because then the child gets affected by it. Once you start adding more heads into your life that you have to take care of and you have to think about, there's more room for error. So I do think you have to be more calculated. I do think you have to be more accountable. I think you have to be more aware. And I don't think jumping into something or pushing something because you're on a time crunch is the right way to go about life.
You got to think.
If you're blessed enough, you get like 100.
And he got his hands up like, yeah, see, I got that one good point. Everything else she said was great. Great. No hand motions for that one. But as soon as she said one little point, and I'm not gonna put it on Sharon because I don't think Sharon's not that type of person. But this is what I see again, since we were talking about earlier about the white noise echoing, whatever. This is what I see. It's like everybody could have some great conversations, and nobody's like really raising their hand up, getting fist bumps to it. But then when it's their argument is valid for that one little point, that's like the hand raises, the high fives, like, see, that's what I'm saying. So I am right. I am right. No, you didn't listen to the whole context of what she was saying. The whole context.
Years to figure out what is meant for you. So, and that's if you're blessed. Some people, their life gets cut short. So I don't believe in pushing or rushing into something, because that's how shit hits the fan. That's how, a lot of things go left, and then you get trauma responses, and you get people that are hurt, and then you get people that are angry, you get people that are bitter, because there's so many he says you have to do this now.
Which is why therapy is suggested for the most part, because I don't see a lot of people pushing that, promoting that, talking about that. Therapy should be promoted and pushed all the time, especially in these relationship conversations. Like, that got to be suggested. Heck, even if we got the ones that got the thousand of views and they're not really speaking on a real healthy balance, I would suggest looking into actual counselors that could come in to have the conversation just to bring that type of balance. You know what I'm saying? But realistically, a lot of them not even going to come on those type of conversations with the spaces that Will said, because when they do come in those spaces, they're not really going to engage too much, because you can't really conversate with a lot of people like that that's pretty much already got their mindset up, stuck in a chamber that's like a little bit so wacky. Like, you're not. So just like, it's best just like, you know what, have the conversation best I can and then just move on. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. You can't fight against what's the inevitable. Jeez. Shout out to Agent Smith.
Oh, if you don't, nobody's going to want you at 30. I've heard that before, that if you don't have a kid now, if you don't get married now, like, you're on a time crunch. Nobody's going to want you at 40 or 60. And I don't believe that. I know couples that they're old, they're in their 70s, and they didn't meet their person till they were in that age, and I don't believe it.
This is how I like what people have, like, and this is me. I like when people actually have real conversations. I'm not knocking anybody, but this is what I see. You got one straight face here with the outside looking at him like, oh, he's very stoic. Yeah, the nice lady with the hat on. I want her beanie. I want it. Right here, engaging in conversation, none of laughing and giggling. You got the clean cut brother right here in the middle, just engaging in the conversation. You got the sister right here at the bottom left with the doctor, same thing. And then you got the two laughing. That's the right there that kind of gets me low key, especially if it's a serious conversation. Like the one in top right with Sharon, this one right here, we're expressing something, and we got I don't mind the head nodding and stuff, but all the laughing, Sharonda laughing, like, okay.
What I can see AK and Sharon. Just let me just kind of qualify something that I know that they're both thinking. It's not that nobody's going to want you, but it's just like the optimum thing in order to build a relationship is younger, and to have like to it's family and stuff like that. A lot.
Hold on, I get to that. If something else has popped up. Okay, Jay says people push therapy when they when they counsel to sell, hit the link. Yeah, that's what. When we say people, I think we're talking about selective people because I'm with you all the way. We said push therapy when they have counsel to sell. Hit the link 500 and an hour coaches. Yeah, I'm with you. Everything else, I would definitely would say that. Yeah, selective people, but I think I know the selective people. But honest and fair enough. If anybody actually look, it's not hard to find. There actually are they're like, and this is I'm thinking on YouTube. I'm sorry. They're actually counselors and therapists and it's selective people, Ron. Vaughn, it's selective, very selective. But if you go on YouTube, okay, there's actual people that's not pushing the hit the link for $500, let me sell your course, all that stuff. There's actual genuine solidified people that does that. Even on again, twice she's been on. I knew her for a long time. She's actual licensed, very experienced therapist. Depending on the conversations that we have at group conversations or special interviews, like I had a few interviews here. I generally go to her as a, hey, you know what? These are the type of questions. These are sensitive conversations and interviews I'm gonna have. I need to know how I need to approach this, what kind of questions, because if you can't come on, I would love to have a very mature conversation, just a real conversation, because I may approach this the wrong way, because certain people you conversate with traumas and issues and stuff going on, especially I think of one lady I was interviewing her. She happened to be a prostitute. She was so transparent. It's I really didn't have to add too much into it. She knew what she needed to do, knew whatever's going on in her life, and that was it. I was okay, bet. And it was a great conversation. So yeah. A
lot of those people who meet people later on, they've already done that. They've had the relationship, they've had the kids, and they get divorced, and now they're just waiting up for a life party to carry on with the rest of their life. But if somebody was looking,
Uncle Fest said, check out Rob Dow, the mindset mentor, great self help topic. Yeah, it was another one too. I can't remember. The lady, the therapist lady. Well, I don't think she's a therapist. But the doctor, Dr. Nadi, the one that was actually we went over a lot about. The one we went about talking about narcissist traits, flying monkeys. Then I did one based on stuff that she said actually came over a theory about the what happens when a narcissist leave and what happens with the flying monkeys, energy vampires. There's another therapist that we covered. None of them that I know of, and it's 3, and you're at another one. And I appreciate that, Uncle Fatty. They never say, hey, well, buy a t-shirt. Here's $100. Click the link. Nobody never did anything like that. So yeah, they're out there. Jay said, yay, and people with the license or etc. are cheaper. Angry man is on the hour for jeez, I fell for that one. I actually say, wow, it's been a while. Yeah, it's been well, actually, yeah, it's been a while. It's this will make the 3rd week. So the 2 weeks ago, I canceled the first week 2 weeks ago, but we did something last week. So last Tuesday we had a group conversation. But the 2 weeks prior before that, I canceled the first week, family, and then the week after that, had bad storm, so I canceled that. So that was that 2 weeks, and then last week, returning back, we was gonna do tonight's conversation for last week, but it was poor taste on my behalf. The people I invited they were down to do the conversation, but it was too last minute. They had stuff going on. So we pretty much voted on it last minute late, streaming last week, Tuesday. And I think we started like 8:30-ish. And then so we just had like a random topic that we did that night. And then I decided to move that topic for tonight. So tonight at 7 p.m. Central Time, that's 8 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're in Cali, so it's like what's that, Vaughn? 7 Central might be like 4 o'clock p.m. So around that time, we're gonna have a group conversation every Tuesday, group conversations, but we're gonna have it's gonna be discussion about thick versus fats. Okay, so I'm gonna give it like a few minutes, let this play out, then I'm gonna end the stream so I can go round up the cattle of adults and give the friendly reminders of everybody so they'll know that, hey, being adults, let me, like Mr. Will said, let me put accountability on grown men to make sure they remember to be up here. But I saw Wes in the chat, so I know Wes is going to be here on time. But I want to make sure the other three guests is properly informed the regular way because, we do stuff the right way over here. But thank you for chiming in. I really appreciate it.
And to start do it from day one and like, okay, I want to marry you, have children, build a life or what have you. It's optimum to have the person that's younger.
Let me run this back because I cut him off.
There's so many he says you have to do this now. If you don't, nobody's gonna want you at 30. I've heard that before, that if you don't have a kid now, if you don't get married now, like you're on a time crunch. Nobody's gonna want you at 40 or 60. And I don't believe that. I know couples that they're older in their 70s and they didn't meet their person till they were in that age, and I don't believe it.
What I can see AK and Sharon, just let me just kind of qualify something that I know that they're both thinking. It's not that nobody's going to want you, but it's just like the optimum thing in order to build a relationship is younger and to have to family and stuff like that. A lot of those people who meet people later on, they've already done that. They've had the relationship, they've had the kids, and they're divorced, and now they're just waiting up for a life party to carry on with the rest of their life. But if somebody who's looking to start doing it from day one and like, okay, I want to marry you, have children, build a life or what have you, it's optimum to have the person that's younger, childless, in order to do that. That's what.
Bring this back to me, D, because I'm sitting on like fire right now.
You're fire.
I want to specify. I want to clarify something. I'm not saying you have to wait. Like if you find somebody that's young, go for it. But what I'm sitting here saying is, don't just pick anybody because you're so anxious to have somebody.
Yes.
That's why you jump in relationships where you're sitting here saying, yeah, we've been together 20 years, but you see that y'all tolerate one another. So what I'm saying is don't set your standards low. And I don't mean money and all that type of stuff. What I'm sitting here saying is I have a friend, she's like, hey, my man has to, be in church. You know what I mean? I need a God-fearing man. So if you feel this person like, well, I don't even believe in God. And let's just say you're going to say, hey, I'm going to pray for him. You know what I mean? And see if that take a little time to change him. But at the end of the day.
That don't even make any sense. Why even do that? If you know the guy, that's like saying off the rip, and this is me saying this, ladies, like it was one was like they intent is to get married, right? Like by the state, because that's what we hear in the spaces too. They don't want to get married by the state, but they want to get married by the state. If that guy don't want to get married and he's telling us he just want to say that we're a common law husband and wife, clearly that's a no. Move on. That's a red flag. Then if the second one is saying, hey, I'm okay with being married by the state, I want to have kids, but I want to have like just one, that's a conversation, maybe possibly, but at the same time, if that's not what you want, then move on. And then now this one, what this woman is saying too, is 100% about the religion thing. If another one's saying, hey, I want a God-fearing man. I want a man to go to church with me every Sunday, every early morning. What's that? The first and third Sunday. I've been to them all. I've seen them all. The long Sunday services, where the churches meet up and get their little congregation together. The first and third Sunday, the second, third services, all that hoo-ha. So if if she said that's the type of man she want, and he can't be that for her, then guess what? Clearly, it isn't for him. But you talking about something you want to pray for this guy to be holy? Who doing that? That's like saying, let me pray for the devil to work it out with the Lord. That ain't never happening. You got good and evil for a reason, baby.
I'm not going to go into this knowing that you don't believe in God or knowing you don't want to have kids. That I feel like you're setting yourself up for failure.
All right.
I want
to get Kasim.
Go ahead and speak on it.
No. I want to get Kasim in here because Kasim hasn't said something in a while. He usually has some real salient points. So go ahead, Kasim. What is your thoughts on
Yeah, I'm a little bit more structured because in my profession I allow people, because I have Zoom calls, so I allow people to like speak and hear them out. What I see with today's young men, they don't have the right social skills, man. They're awkward. They don't know how to have a conversation with women. They don't have enough confidence to even go up and speak.
That is so true. So true. Don't even dress properly. I seen some. That's so true. I seen some young guys that don't even wear shirts. They just be walking around shirtless with a jacket on just cause. I seen some guys, some young men that would like literally yell out their vehicle or their auntie's vehicle, their mom's vehicle, their grandmother's vehicle, just to holler or get another girl attention and ask for a number. That's what I see. So he's 100% true on that one. And I caught that shade. Let me go ahead and read it. So, we're about to petty over here. So I appreciate that, X-Ray. Thank you. X-Ray said, what an odd comparison, GP. I got you. This is for you, X-Ray. This is for you. We definitely appreciate the petty over here. Thank you. Thank you. I can take that. All right. This is an hour in, so we ended off with the good petty. Shout out to X-Ray. I don't know. I might do like a part 2 of this. I'm gonna write it down. We're at an hour and 12. I'll do this tomorrow another time. This is bananas. Yeah, I'll definitely make this a part 2. All right. No final thoughts here. Everybody pretty much said what they said. My yeah. I don't know. It's pretty much stands the same square I'm at. Date with your intent. End of discussion. Date with your intent. If you don't know, but you think you know, then you don't know. I think that's pretty much just sums it up. If you think you know, but you don't know, then you don't know. I appreciate Damien having this good conversation. It really was a good one. Nobody didn't curse. Thank you. I appreciate the conversation. Everybody on the panel. Appreciate Damien allowing me to react to this. It's pretty cool. I'm glad he actually back to have the conversation. I appreciate the invites he gave me on this panel. I think I might just be more a chat person on his end. Because some people might say some stuff I might just react to just to react. So, but I enjoy it. I liked his old, I won't say old, but he had like a good little mixture of group and when he's first starting. That was pretty cool too. But my suggestion, Dave, bring the if you can, like I love Will's vibes. I mean, I don't mind because again, it's YouTube. You gotta have yeah, he just started back X-Ray. Like he was always on panels. He took a break from his platform. He had a great like collaboration of people on his panel. Like I think that's pretty much like our parallels. Like he had like a great collaboration of people on his panel to the point I was like, yo, I would love most of the people on my platform. He just started back. He was going to do his launch last week, Monday, but somehow it didn't work out that way. And then he promoted for this week, which was last night. So, and what you see here is pretty much a good conversation all around. Yeah, so he's pretty much back. I think he's going to do it every Monday. I think it's going to be. So if it's some good conversations, I don't mind reacting to it every other. Yeah, Damon's a good dude. He's a good dude across the board. I actually love how we met, which is crazy, because I think well, and I didn't know much about the space, and Brittany B actually was the one I explained a little bit more better, how it used to be or how the platform was supposed to be, because it kind of changed for me. I felt like it changed 3 times, and I went on just to kind of give it a shot, and then I'm pretty much like how Will is. I'm not the one like, let me jump in to argue and fight with people just because it didn't make any sense. And that's when I came across Damien. I don't know if I reached out to him or he reached to me. Then we pretty much emailed each other, had a great little discourse. Then we had like a FaceTime behind the scenes. Again, vetting, right? Vetting, networking with each other, having a great conversation. And then and I said, okay. And I had him on the platform, and he started it down the line. He started his own, and then he kept it very professional on his end. Even the point, like, even back to like, how it used to be X-Ray, where people like, hey, let me get a link, and then they'll get a link but never jump on a panel, but they'll wait till like the platform was done. They'll hang out behind the platform. He was like, nah, I'll catch you later. I need to talk to such and such at the end. And that was it. So he always kept it very professional. And that's what I liked about him for the most part. Even when he go on platforms that creates echo chambers or like spins a narrative, or some have chaos to it, he'll still go on the platform. I don't know if he was doing that to just like, you know what, I got the time, or he was pretty much building up his skills for his conversation with other people, because most people do that too. But he always kept that same line of character and genuine, and being very authentic. Now, if he came, let's say he came out of character, he was still kept it. He still was him, if that makes any sense. He was still genuine. He's still respectful. He's still polite. Like, he was just been him, and so that's pretty cool. So, and you see that a lot. So he was always him everywhere he went, which a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people just like, they'll portray themselves one way forefront, and then when they get somewhere else, it's like they unhinge off the rip. Like, wow. So this is why I say to most people, like, if you don't intent, I know the relationship, and I know I said a lot, but it still fit the same way. Like, your intent with everything you do. If your intent, you want to be a content creator, you got to understand like almost every aspect of it. If you're on panels, on podcasts, on a lot of podcasts, you got to, whoever you are, where you at, like home base, you got to be there too. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't understand when you on live platforms, and we've seen a lot, X-Ray and anybody else in the chat can correct me wrong. A lot of people get a little bit too comfortable, and then some of their real self spill out, and it's like, oh, well. And a lot of people's in chat people and cloud people, I'm sure they probably in the clouds here too, but a lot of people just watch and observe and listen to their body languages, their nuances, their eyes back and forth, what they say now versus what they're saying on another platform, because people be catching it like, hey, well, you said this for this topic. The topic could be about baby mamas. Then they'll run over to another panel, say something totally different about baby mamas, and then somebody in the chat just pop like, nope, you said this, or super chat this. Like, so you wasn't being 100% honest with yourself, and then that's the way it exposed. So yeah, he's a good dude all around, been himself, all the way around. So yeah, I like people like that. I like people like keep it, and it's fine. You can have the engagement, like Ashley and Ruby. They're always themselves, but they'll butt the heads, or Wes and Ruby for the most part, because Wes just love to just throw the jabs, whatever jokes he does, and then who else is up here? Inky. I love Inky. Inky just so sweet and quiet, but she got a little bit more comfortable in her platform, where she's like, you know what? Let me try to be a little bit not aggressive, but like, let me just hold a boundary for myself. Like, for example, on my platform, she's like, look, Y'all all yelling. I can't talk when y'all yell. I'm like, there you go, Inky. That's what you're supposed to do. But you're not yelling and screaming. So yeah. All right. I will catch our guys at 7 p.m. Central Time. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Make the thumbnail link and all that stuff is there. I'm gonna put Damien's channel link in the description so everybody can watch it out. But I'll definitely do a part 2 of this one. Sharon triggered me. I'm just gonna keep it 100. He triggered me. All the body language, his head shaking. I don't know where that was coming from. But it's part of engagement. Appreciate you guys.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.